Hello and welcome to episode 98 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony and joining me this week, it's the other spark on the pod. He's pulled himself away from deep meditation on whether or not he should continue his Zelda adventure. It's Mr. Darren Whitten.
What are you doing disturbing me?
I could just see you trying to get enlightenment. But I don't want to finish it. But I want to play it.
Crikey. The decision has still been made. I was so surprised you started off with that. Claire gave me a load of aggro about this the other day after she'd listened to it. She was like, right, you, sit down. I was like, what? And she goes, this Zelda business. She goes, I don't understand what you mean.
No, and we're going to have an intervention. Claire's been contacting me. We're going to have an intervention.
It's really bad, man. And she was like, you didn't answer the question. I said, I'm sure I answered it quite well. I said that I didn't want to play it because I love it so much. But, you know, I will play it one day. And, like, yeah, I appreciate that by never playing it, I may as well just play it. Because it's kind of the same. If I'm going to play it and then never play it again, I may as well not play it. And, yeah, so I can understand you imagine that takes a lot of meditation and reaching Zen to sort of get my mind around. I've been basically stoic in a yoga pose since the last podcast, trying to work out this conundrum. But, yeah, Claire,
First of all, good word. I like that. Stoic.
I phrased it quite well to Claire when I sort of thought about it a little bit. I said, the thing is, if I complete Zelda, for me, it will devalue my Switch. So I was like, I don't want to complete it just yet.
But I could just feel Claire's head in the future, just listening to this, and Claire's just shaking her head. It's like, help me, Claire! Help me, Claire! Help me!
She's in the car listening to this, and she's just like, She wants me to carry on playing it, and I want to carry on playing it, but I also don't.
So play it.
I'm very ambivalent about it.
Oh, that's just very funny. So anyway, dude, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to this week? I sorted out my garage, which is quite good. Right. One of the dads at Sam's school asked for a PlayStation 2 cable. This is what prompted it. And because he said that he wanted his son to play a game, and I was like, oh, I'll help. And he couldn't find the cable, but he had the actual console.
Right.
I said, what game is it? He said, Simpsons Hit and Run. I want him to. He said it's like GTA for kids. And I just said, oh, classic. I said, well, I want to help. So I said, I've got one of these, definitely got one of these. It's in my box of cables. And I've got this big old printer box, just full of every cable, you know,
right.
from when time began. And I knew it was in there. And the thing is, I thought I had a component cable for the PS2 as well. So I kind of went, I might have an even better cable for you. So anyway, I haven't been in there for ages. Not since I moved, really. Certainly not for anything like this. And how do wires get tied up round each other when you just leave them?
It's almost like they just kind of get all entwined. They like it. They get all cozy, don't they? Because, like you say, yeah, exactly. You put a wire on the top, and then within probably a week, it's now entangled, and it's at the bottom. It's like, how does that happen?
It's like Toy Story or something. They all come alive at night, or just whenever you're not in the room, and they all get tangled up and, you know, getting a boogie on. And when you go in there, they all just freeze, and they're all completely knotted. So it started off, I tried delving in, and I just lifted up one cable, and it just weighed a ton, and then I got both hands and just lifted up this boulder of cables that was entwined. So I was like, oh, goodness sake. I thought, I need to do this one day. So I poured them all on the floor and started the arduous task of unravelling them all to find the PS2 cable. Now, I found a normal PS2 cable pretty quick, and then I was convinced I had a component one, so I unravelled the entire lot. The entire rat's nest, to discover that, I probably didn't have a component cable after all. But after I'd done that, I went on and tidied the entire garage because I was sort of in there doing it.
Yes.
But the good thing about that was, as well as my cable box, I had 2 boxes that I've had out in storage for years. And they've got all my old consoles and stuff. So I did some tidying around in the garage, and I made some cupboard space. I got some cupboards in the garage, and I thought, I know, because I got really excited about making more space in the garage. And I thought, if I can get rid of these 2 boxes, I could put them in the cupboard. So I got rid of some useless stuff out of that cupboard. It only had, what did it have, like a few tiles? Just stuff that it was here when I moved in. Some tiles, a half-empty can of paint and stuff like that, a rusty saw. Took them out. I was like, classic, and started moving stuff into the cupboards. And so I got to sort of see everything that I had in my boxes, which isn't that much, but I think I mentioned it to you at the time. What did I have? So I fished out, and now they're in a nice cupboard, so they're not getting... Well, they weren't getting dirty anyway, but they just sort of they've got a better place to rest now. What did I have? Mega Drive, PS1, PS2, Dreamcast, Nintendo 64 NTSC, Neo Geo Pocket, Atari Lynx, Dreamcast, and a Dreamcast Fight Stick, and a Mega Drive Fight Stick, and a Nokia N-Gage that I was foolish enough to buy when they got released, and my Donkey Konga bongos.
Oh, wow.
So they're all nicely in the cupboards now. And I got about 4 N64 pads, which I forgot that I got. And I've got Star Fox 64, and one of the pads had the rumble thing attached to it. That was quite a nice thing to look at. A PlayStation Eye I had in there.
Wow.
I don't think any of the games I've got are worth anything. I got like Star Fox 64, Wave Race 64, Mario Party 3. Super Mario 64. These are all boxed. Though Mario's box is a bit worn, which is a shame. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. I used to love that.
Oh, yes. That was such a great game.
Yeah, really. And the music, I love straight from the film, wasn't it? Wrong Star Wars film. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, in the golden box. And I think that might have been the NTSC version that was in the golden box. Not sure. Mortal Kombat something. I can't read the box. I've took a Mortal Kombat Trilogy, I think.
Wow.
Crikey, I don't even know what that is. I'll have to put my N64 on. GoldenEye. That's it for the N64. And then some highlights for the Dreamcast. Shenmue 2 in a nice big box. Seaman. I wonder if I've got the microphone. Soul Calibur. That's probably about it. Samba de Amigo as well. That was the first console Samba de Amigo came out on.
Oh, that was such a great game.
It was. And then I got some American Dreamcast games. Space Channel 5. Dead or Alive 2. And what's that? Resident Evil Code Veronica. And I pulled out an old sort of CD cover, and inside this sort of like cardboard CD case, there was my original Wipeout 2097 disc with the instructions, but I hadn't got the case. But I was like, oh wow, look at that. It's all neon and nice.
Wow. So you could just put your new one, the new Wipeout game, into that, and it would look really cool.
It would look awesome, wouldn't it? So yeah, that was pretty cool. Tidied up the garage.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you did it a while ago, didn't you? And you've got loads of stuff out. And I thought this would be really nice in display cases. But for now, they're out of the box and they've been promoted. I got my Joy-Con back from Nintendo.
Superb.
Which is fantastic. That's been tested. That's all working well. A little bit disappointed to find they didn't even acknowledge that I'd written them a little letter saying I was disappointed that this was the second Joy-Con I had to send back. Not even a sorry.
Wow.
But they fixed it. And then when they fixed it and send it back, they say, right, your warranty now starts from now.
Right.
Which I think that's quite nice. I think that might be it. What else have I been doing? On a few Pokemon Go raids.
Yes.
There's been an update to Pokemon Go that I wasn't really aware of, and Sam was playing it for the first time in ages. He'd put it on, and all of a sudden he said, Daddy, there's a raid going on. I went, what are you talking about? So I had a look, and as he said, there was a countdown to a raid at a local gym. So we went down and joined in a battle.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
It was pretty good. I think the idea is, though, that everybody's supposed to congregate at these gyms now to battle these really powerful Pokemon that appear at the gyms. Up to 20 people can team up to battle one Pokemon. And if you beat it, you've got a chance of catching it, and you get some experience and stuff. I remember when the first adverts for this were out, pre-release a year ago, and it showed this kind of thing happening. And so, like, Times Square was just full of everyone battling Mewtwo. It was quite amazing. Trouble is, I haven't seen anyone congregating. It's just me and Sam. So I think certainly in Thornton, the zeitgeist slightly disappeared somewhat, because we've done a few raids now, and there's never anyone there but us. But maybe in more built-up areas, maybe you'll see people gathering round Nelson's Column or something like that for a big battle. The idea is awesome.
Yes, but that sounds really cool. It
is really cool. It's just. And they've been busy. They were busy. I think fixing the infrastructure took precedence over new features. But it's just like, it's been over a year, hasn't it? Or maybe it was about now that it got released.
Absolutely. I was going to say that feature kind of about now, when it was released last year, that would have been amazing because, there was lots of stuff on the news. There was I was seeing people in Tunbridge Wells. You were seeing people kind of gathering together in London. It was happening. So if that feature would have been available at launch, that would have got a lot more use. I can see why like I say, there was infrastructure issues, but to release that later, maybe they're trying to kind of get that bubble back again. It's summer, the sun's out. Maybe we can try and get people outside again and kind of doing this. So we add this new feature.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right time, isn't it? I mean, they've got me and Sam out again, which is good. I did read a stat. I think I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere that they made so much money on Pokemon Go that they didn't actually expect to make as much as they made, and the amount of money they made in the first, I don't know, few months of release was enough to fund their production or looking after the game for 10 years.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter what they do. Maybe that's why they delayed everything. So they made that much money that it was like, well, that will just pay for us for this amount of time. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is. That's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the stats of how it's doing regarding players, officially or anything, but I imagine this raids thing, because as it's kind of declined, I don't see people walking around playing Pokemon Go anymore.
No,
as it's kind of declined, maybe in the cities, it's still got where it's got, maybe it's still got some people that have banded together through the year. But who knows? But it's quite fun. So if you've got Pokemon Go still on your phone, it'll probably have auto-updated, just give it an update, and you can go on a raid. I think you've got to be a certain level to be able to qualify for a raid. And the way they do it is you've got to go to a gym, and gyms are now they act like Pokestops as well as Pokestops. So you can spin a gym and get some stuff.
Right.
If you spin a gym, you get a free raid pass once a day. You get a free raid pass. And with that, you can enter a raid, but no more than that. So if you wanted to do more raids in a day, guess what you'd have to do? Buy a raid pass.
Okay.
This is where the business comes in. So you can go and buy raid passes, and also if you beat the Pokemon at the gym raid, it awards you so many Pokeballs for it. Now these aren't the usual Pokeballs you've got; these are Premier Balls. They're the white ones,
right?
And so I think you've only got a certain amount. And I'm thinking that if you ran out, I haven't had this happen to us yet, but if you ran out or trying to catch one, then there'd be a real impetus if you're a collecting if you're into the game and you're a collector. You're kind of like, I've run out of Pokeballs. What do I do here? Wait for another raid, or I could buy some Pokeballs right now to catch this because I've only got like 10 minutes to catch it.
Yeah.
So you can see the business model kicking in there. But I haven't had to pay any money. You've just like got a free raid pass and done one raid a day.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's pretty good. And I've also got a little bit of entertainment here for you, Anthony. You ready for this? I've brought into the studio the Guinness World Records 2017 for gaming.
Right.
I know you like it when I bring a gaming book in. So what I thought we could do is you pick a number between 16 and 285. They're the numbers of the pages in the book. And if you pick a page, I'll pick you a fact or a record from the book.
Okay. 73.
73. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Let's see how interesting this fact is going to be.
I know. I'll probably pick the dullest facts.
That won't be your fault. There should be exciting facts on every page, shouldn't there? It's the book's fault. Right, hold on a minute. That's 91. 73, you said, didn't you?
I did indeed.
We're getting close. 73. Right, let's have a look at this. Inside a Lego studio.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, what have we got here? Tallest Lego model in a video game. Okay.
Oh, superb.
The Barad-dûr Tower from Lego The Lord of the Rings from 2012 is the tallest structure built for a Lego game. The ominous, sky-piercing entity, the fortress home to Middle-earth baddie Lord Sauron, stood at 2.5 metres, 8 foot 2 inches tall, and used a total of 53,673 bricks. The tower was first imagined by J.R.R. Tolkien in his classic book trilogy Lord of the Rings, and is recognisable for the Eye of Sauron, which keeps watchful guard from the building's highest tower. There you go.
Awesome. Look at that. I couldn't have picked that one even better. Did you because you've watched Lego Batman now, haven't you?
Yes.
Did you like the eye of Sauron appeared in that as well?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
So cool. They had that and Voldemort as well. That was just like it was so good.
Yeah, I don't expect to see Lord of the Rings stuff in sort of popular culture stuff. So I was like, well, really happy with it. Yeah.
Right, can I pick again? Oh,
you like it, do you?
Yep, 112.
112. Right, I'll go. Let's do this.
I'll do one more after this.
Oh wow, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel that, this has been accepted. You didn't say, yeah, thanks, Daz.
No, thanks,
anyway.
Daz. This is amazing.
Let's move. No, you could have said, yeah, thanks a lot, Daz. I'm moving on.
yeah, anyway, so what I've been doing.
Right, hold on, man.
112. Come on.
I've got to be accurate here.
You could just make this up. You could just open up any page.
I could have had a page ready. 112. Sure, that's 112. I told you I should have put the light on. Yeah, that's 112. I'm sure that I'm sort of in twilight here. Star Wars shooters.
Oh yes, look at this Lego Star Wars. This is like a book for me.
It is a book for you. I might send it you in the post. Let's have a look. Best-selling Star Wars game, single platform. The PS4 version of EA's multiplayer shooter Star Wars Battlefront 2015 has sold 7.2 million copies as of 4th of April 2016, according to VG Charts. The title was a reboot of LucasArts' Battlefront series 2004-13. More than 9.5 million gamers played its beta on 8th to the 13th of October 2015, the most popular beta for a shooter.
Awesome.
There you go. You're going to have another
finally,
go?
I'm finally 130.
130, right?
I'll keep going up, keeping you kind of in that way.
I'm turning the light on, hold on. That's it. I had to do it. I couldn't stand it anymore, squinting at the pages. 130. 130. Here we go. Right. EVE Online. Oh, do you want to change it?
No, go for it.
Let's
space.
Have
I like space.
EVE Online fact. There's 3 facts on here.
Ooh.
You can have one about theft, one about most Titans lost, or one about longest running convention for a single video game.
Longest running convention. Hit me, bad boy.
Since its 2004 debut, the EVE FanFest in Iceland has attracted fans on an annual basis. I didn't know they did this. Missing only 2011, the biggest turnout was in 2013 when 4,000 gamers celebrated the game's 10th anniversary. At the 2014 event, a team of CCP developers fought MMA fighter Gunnar Nelson, ISL, who's above right in the picture, in submission contests. Like a mixed martial arts battle. Unsurprisingly, Nelson won almost every one. Sorry, not almost. Won every one of the bouts. So the devs went up against some MMA star in the ring. That's funny.
So cool.
Brilliant. So there you go, man.
There you go. And what book was that?
That's the Guinness World Record Book of Gaming 2017.
Awesome.
Which I got for Christmas.
That's really cool. I like it.
But I thought I'd bring it in. Right. There you go, man. What have you been up to?
It's like a reoccurring segment now. It's like Daz reads from the Guinness World Records.
Yeah, it's like listeners write in with a number between 16 and 285 and we'll read you a fact from the Guinness Book of Records.
That was so funny. For me, this week I have, I guess, the highlight of my week. My week was I went to Goodwood. I went to Goodwood Festival of Speed on Friday, and I took my brother and my dad. So for their birthdays, all of the kind of the men, well, most of the men actually, not all of the men, most of the men in the Chesson family are all February. So my dad and my brother are quite close together. So I went up and I gave them tickets to Goodwood Festival of Speed. So they came down to Tunbridge Wells because it's kind of this way. And we went to the Festival of Speed on Friday morning. So we all got up stupidly early on Friday and headed down to Goodwood. And it was just absolutely superb. It was fantastic. It was really good. My brother has been before. My brother's kind of a bit of a petrol head, so he's been before. He's been quite a few times before, but it was my dad's first Goodwood, and he was totally blown away by it. It was quite funny. We kind of went in, and straight away we were there about 8:30, and the first hill climb was there, and it was all full of like pre-war cars and bikes, and straight away, like my brother and I, we were talking to Aston Martin because there's a bit of a car show there as well. So we were looking at these Aston Martins, and my dad just wandered off. Like within 5 minutes, I'd lost my dad. I'm just like, he's gone. Where's he gone? So he'd gone off, and he was just watching this, and he was just like, this is amazing. I can't wait for more. And then we kind of took him round to kind of where everything else, and he was just like, mind was blown. We stood and watched Formula One cars, old and new, doing the hill run. And then they kind of have a bit of a procession when they come back to go into the paddock. And my dad was like, that was incredible. And I was like, well, if we cross over the track now, we can actually go and see those cars. And he hadn't realised that you could go and stand right next to those cars. You can get right up, you can look inside. You are next to cars. They're not behind ropes or anything like that. There was a couple of cars that were behind ropes, but most of them you can kind of get in and you can sit in. And it was just absolutely fantastic. And we had such a blast. It was really good fun. We got to go to the Aston Martin section, as I was saying, my brother and I, and we got to sit in the new DB11, which was a stunning car. We got to sit there, and I got to go to the BMW one and have a look at the i8s, and there was this new car, this new 8 Series car as well, which was basically a concept car, and we got to see that, and it was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love kind of going to Goodwood. It's such a fantastic day.
That sounds amazing. Is it a full day that you're there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a full day and then some. I mean, my brother and I were talking about it, and I've said this kind of time and time again. I would happily go for 2 days to Goodwood, because what you have is on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, you have famous drivers doing the hill run, and most of the time they're trying to break the records. They're trying to kind of get the best time for the hill run. Occasionally you'll get maybe there were some drift drivers, and they decided that they would go up the main straight sideways and then start doing donuts, get the crowd kind of really going. But a lot of the time you've got like kind of McLaren F1, Ferrari F1 just doing the hill climb to try and get the fastest time. So you want to watch that, and each batch of cars, so whether it's Ferrari First Look, which is my favourite, which is all the brand new cars or concept cars, they all do 2 runs a day. But while that's happening, all around it's a car show. It's a car show and then some. So you can go and sit in BMWs. Ford had this 4-story thing with a big slide. It was just... Excuse me, it was absolutely fantastic. It's just such a great day. And the funniest thing was, I was walking with my dad and my brother. We were kind of just chatting about what we're going to be doing next. And we said, right, let's go and get a coffee. And we're kind of walking down, and I saw Lightning McQueen. And they had this stand that was for cars. And they had Lightning McQueen. They had Lightning McQueen and the other car that's in cars.
Full car version?
Yeah, it's a full car, an absolute like full car. And it was incredible. So I was chatting to my dad, and suddenly I just like fast-paced off to Lightning McQueen. I was like, oh my god, because they just looked so cool. They looked absolutely fantastic. And then when my dad and my brother caught up with me, there was a woman there with a camera, and because they were taking pictures for kids and things, because there's some kids there. And so my dad went up to the woman and said, can my son have a picture, please? Because he's obviously starstruck. Just look at him like that. So this woman took my photo in between kind of Lightning McQueen and the other car, and she took my photo. And then I kind of had to go to a place where they printed it out, and then they put it on like a little, like when you go to Alton Towers and they take a picture of you on a ride.
Yeah,
it was like that. So he gave those away for free. And then she said, oh, if you want to go into the tent, you can play the new Cars game, and there's also some colouring books and some stickers. And I was like, there is?
But you flew in there, mate.
You really did. I was off. And it was just so funny. My dad's like, come on, I want a coffee. And I'm like, all right then.
Dad.
And I was like, really? Just leave me here. But it was such good fun. It was really cool. And I was impressed. I was really impressed because wherever you were looking, kind of at the BMW stand, there was another stand, I think it was, I'm trying to think, there was another car stand, but BMW had Forza. I saw Forza Horizon, they had Forza Motorsport, I think BMW had Forza Horizon, there was Forza Motorsport 6 was also on another stand, and I also saw Gran Turismo as well on there was Gran Turismo was somewhere, and then I saw that. But then, so I was just like, you could kind of see kind of gaming all over and technology all over this show. And then it was really funny as I was going home, because I was tweeting throughout the day, just like tweeting a few pictures and stuff, but I didn't really kind of look at Twitter. And I'm sitting in the car on the way home, and I was just going through Twitter, and I noticed that the Porsche stand, which was the one place that we didn't go, had Forza Motorsport 7 in 4K in a sit-down thing. And I was just like, turn the car around. I want to go back. So I couldn't. I was gutted. I was gutted when I was just like, the one day I don't watch Twitter. And I found this because of like Xbox UK went, don't forget, if you go to the Porsche stand, if you're at Goodwood, go to the Porsche stand, and we've got Forza Motorsport 7. I was like, I was so gutted, because it was actually like a sit-down, pedals, all of that. Yeah. But I was just like, damn it, dagnam it. But it was, like I say, the Goodwood Festival of Speed was just absolutely fantastic. So, and the cool thing was my dad was already saying, right, so next year, he was obviously quite blown away by it, because he was like, right, next year we're going to do this, this, and this. So it was just very good fun.
Sounds awesome, man. Apart from the fact that the whole thing got reduced to utter bobbins when you realised you'd missed the main event.
Yeah, I was grumpy then. I was like, I just want to go home now.
It's your fault, Dad.
I was like, turn it around. And then I guess the last thing before we kind of get on to what we've been playing, is when we got home, because my brother and my dad, they live up in Lincolnshire. So they haven't been down since I got PlayStation VR. So of course, anyone who comes to my house who hasn't played PlayStation VR, then they have to kind of, they have to go through the initiation.
Oh, mate. I mean, demoing VR is almost as good as playing VR.
Oh, it really
if not
is.
as much as good. I love demoing VR.
It really is. So I kind of, with my brother, because he's like me, he's a Star Wars nerd. So I was like, right, straight away, I was like, right, okay, strap this on. We're gonna, I'm gonna take you to Star Wars. So I took him to Star Wars. So first of all, you got an AT-AT that just kind of walks all the way across, or if you're kind of new school now, AT-ATs, which actually my brother said, he went, we call these AT-ATs, don't we? And I was like, yes, we do. And I was like,
I love the AT-AT check. People of a certain age, you've got to have an AT-AT check.
I do. I really think it is. I think it's anyone kind of like 30 and onwards. It's like AT-AT, and anyone else, it's AT-AT.
Yeah.
So we watched the AT-AT kind of walk across the screen, and then I kind of took him. He jumped into his X-wing, and he was absolutely blown away by it. He was playing it, and he was just blown away. He was just like, this is incredible. And it was really good to see. And I didn't have headphones on when I was playing that. I was just had normal sound, and he was just looking around, and he couldn't believe that, like, looking behind him, he could see like an R2 unit. That was just blowing his mind. He's like, wherever I look up and down. And then at one point, he was kind of just looking all around and just kind of fighting. And then I kind of, so when he finished that demo, I said, right, I just got to show you this, because this is fantastic, and it's the shark encounter. So I said, right, put the shark encounter on. I said, you'll love this. So he just kind of put the shark encounter on, and he was looking around, and he kept looking around, and my dad just mentioned, like, my dad was seated kind of having a bit of a chuckle at my brother kind of looking like an idiot, and he was just saying, my dad was like, why isn't he looking at the screen? And I was like, well, because he can see what's in front of him, kind of in his eyes. It's
did not realise that he was looking at the headset. Oh, wow.
No, he hadn't realised that what the headset was doing. So
no wonder he was chuckling. He's like, he's enjoying this a lot more than me.
Exactly.
This on the TV.
So my brother's looking around at the shark encounter. He actually did. It was quite funny, actually. I'll say it on the pod. He'll hate me for it. But he actually bailed when the shark attacked. It was too much for him. Yeah. He was like, nope, can't do this. He goes, I can't do this. It was really funny when the shark, because it attacks you and it's fine, but then it pulls off some bars. And then when the bars were gone and the shark was kind of on its way, he was like, no, I'm done. And then he took the headset off. So my dad was like, well, why are you looking over there? And my dad was just generally perplexed about it. So I said to him, I said, right, okay. I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the coral reef on. So all you're doing is just looking around at fish and coral reef. I said, and just try VR. And so I strapped it onto my dad, and my dad was just like, he was blown. His mind was blown for like the second time that day. He was like, oh my, and he just, at one point, I've got a photo on my phone because I was trying to take a photo of him, and he hit me because he was like trying to reach the fish, and he was just like trying to get his hands up. So he actually hit me but he was just looking around, and I said, so turn around. I said, so you can see what Colin was doing. I said, turn around. So he turned around and he was like, it's behind me as well. And I was like, look above, look down. And he was just, his mind was blown that he could do all of that, and he was just, and then of course, my dad being my dad, the first thing he said was, "How much did this cost?"
Yeah.
And then Nicola looked at me and went, "Yes, Tony, how much did this cost?" And I was like, £200. So,
It's worth every penny. It's worth every penny.
yeah, and it was just really funny. It was really, but it was really cool to kind of see my brother, to my family to kind of like witness VR. So my sister's next. My sister's the only one who hasn't tried VR.
Oh wow! Well, there's nothing like it, and I love demoing it. You see those for people that have never seen it before. It's just an amazing thing to have given them and to have led them through.
Yes.
Were either of them sold enough to think about getting one?
No, I mean, unfortunately, they were driving back to Lincolnshire that day. I think if they'd have stayed over Friday night as well, I'd have probably showed my brother a lot more. Like, there were some car games like Drive Club and things like that. And I think he might have been sold on that. But he's an Xbox guy. He's got Xbox. So he did say, though, is this available on Xbox? I'm like, no, not yet. It's
one
kind
day.
of piece. One day, yeah. So when Phil's ready. So he's more of a kind of Xbox guy than a PlayStation. But he was just like, he just kept saying all the way kind of back up the stairs, and when they were leaving he was like, I just can't believe it, that was just incredible. His mind was really blown, so which was really cool.
Oh, it's amazing. I saw my nephews at the weekend, and we had a little chat about VR when they tried it here. Mm-hmm. And we were chuckling away at it, and you reminded me of a bit of the conversation when you said your dad sort of hit you because he was reaching out.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, I told you that my youngest nephew Alex, he was in, I forget what game it was in, but there was a table, and like we were all chatting.
Yeah.
We were all chatting in sort of the kitchen area, and he was in the dining room, which had all the furniture moved out, which is the VR room. And all of a sudden we just heard this crash, and we looked around, and he was sprawled on the floor face first. Like, what's the matter, Alex? What's happened? Did you trip over the wire? He's like, no, I didn't. I leant on the table. There isn't a table. And he's like, yeah, I realise that now.
I must admit though, it was really funny because I haven't played VR since we played Star Trek Bridge Crew, and just like putting on, making sure everything was okay. I really was like, ooh, I really need to go back and have a bit of a session. I really need to have a bit of a play with VR, because just that experience of actually seeing something that's kind of fully surrounding you is quite interesting.
Yeah, every time I put mine on, I say to whoever's in the room, my goodness me, I don't use this enough. I should be in this all the time. This is amazing.
Yes.
And I stand there as if it's the first time, every time, and just go, whoa, just looking around. But I haven't played it for a while either, because I put the PC in the lounge. Because I've been playing Next Machina, which I've got Steam code for, and my main TV is in the lounge. So the PC's in the lounge, so it's laziness, really. I haven't been bothered to carry it through. I don't want to keep carrying it through and through and through. I just need two PCs. That's the answer, isn't it?
Obviously.
So I haven't played it for a while either. But it's funny because all this week I've said I'm going to play VR. And I just haven't got around to it. It's really bad because I'm itching to. And for me, it's not even that bad. All I need to do is I pick up the PC. I've got it dead easily set up. I've got power line connections for the network, power line adapter plugs. So all I do is I disconnect everything, take just the unit itself, where the power and the HDMI and the power line adapter is already set up in the other room.
Right.
Just walk to the other room, put it down, plug it in, and I'm away. So
that's so cool.
It's cool, but it makes me sound very lazy for not doing it. It's bad. So I'm going to have to do that. I really want another go in VR. And the thing is, it's been a while, and the way it works with Vive, everything's always getting updated and changed. So whenever I go in there, there's just so much to see and do. It's really cool. So yeah, but it sounds amazing. It must be so good. I'm sort of even more interested in your dad's reaction than your brother's, because he's probably not as used to technology. That's a bit of a generalisation. I hope that's not offensive, but
no, absolutely. I mean, he only got his first tablet, I think, probably about 2.5 years ago, and now never puts it down, so but he only kind of got that, kind of maybe 3 years ago he kind of got his first tablet. So it's definitely kind of the large realisation that is definitely kind of he's just, and that's what I mean, he was so perplexed by it that that's why I said, right, I said it won't be anything jumpy, nothing's going to come, because he was a bit nervous about it. I said, so nothing's going to jump at you, nothing's going to kind of come out, this is going to be it says there in the title, look, you can see it says peaceful, tranquil. So he just kind of put that on, and he was just like, wow, he was just, and when I was saying to him, right, look behind, and now kind of look up and look down, he was just like absolutely just mind blown by it.
I'm proud of him. My dad won't my dad won't try it. He won't try it. I've asked him many times, and he just says no.
Wow.
I say, why? Don't want to. Shut up. That's it. That's what I get. I've given up asking.
Wow.
I want to reason, Anthony. I want to reason. He's scared of the tech.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, sometimes maybe it's a little bit claustrophobic, maybe something like that. It just could be anything. But like I say, I don't think my dad could fly a starship or kind of take on the shark. But he was definitely kind of happy with that kind of more kind of guided experience.
Yeah, and that's perfect though, isn't it? Yeah, that's the perfect entry point. Oh, I like that. I'm proud of your father, and I'm happy for your brother. I'm jealous, really, because I still haven't had a go on that Star Wars experience.
No, you definitely. We need to sort that out. We need to sort it. So, what have you been playing this week, sir?
What have I been playing? That's a very good question. Well, as we discussed last week, we're in a bit of a lull, aren't we? Us guys that have played everything. Though I haven't completed everything, as you opened the show with. So I've been playing Mario Kart 8.
Right.
Because I made a trip to Birmingham, as I said, I saw my nephews and stuff. So I took the Switch and we played Mario Kart 8, and that was awesome. And I've been playing Zelda as well.
No, superb.
There you go. After Claire and you attacked me, I thought,
so you've actually gone back in.
Well, I've had a bit of a go.
You've had a dabble.
I've had a dabble, but it was amazing. It was so good. It's like I was at Hatino Village because I'd just got my house.
Right.
This is funny. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours trying to find the Hudson guy.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking ages, man. I didn't realise he was around the back of the house.
Yes.
I never looked round the back of the house. I was looking round the back of every other house. I was leaving the village and looking around the woods. I went the other side and left the village. I climbed all the way up to the tower at the top, where the blue flames lead.
Yep.
I was scouring, but I was kind of like, flipping it. Anthony found this guy, no problem. Why can't I find him? I was up at that big flagpole every few hours looking, scanning around. I was like, I can't find him. And I think I might have, I don't know if I asked you if I looked online.
No, you didn't ask me. No, I would have gone, look around because Nicola just finished that quest as well. So I was like, look way on the back.
I think I might have looked it up because I just thought, this is getting me so mad. And I thought, and if it's something that's a lack of skill, I'll be ashamed. And it was just, I don't know if it was like a skill, lack of exploration, maybe. And he just kind of went, yeah, he's here. Or maybe I just walked around the back anyway. And
there he was.
I just kind of went, I can't believe it, Claire. This says he's like about 3 steps from where I started this entire charade. And I walked around the back and there he was. I was like flipping out. So I did that. But the good thing is I had loads of money.
Right.
So I could do all the stuff. So I got my house nice and sorted. But yeah, so then I was just looking through the side quests. And I did the one, I don't know if you remember it. It's like a rhyme and it's about 3 cedar trees on the mountains.
Oh, right, yes.
So off I went on a little mission. I thought, that's my main quest now. This is not a side quest. This is the main quest for me. Mm-hmm. And off I went to do that quest. And then when I got there, I got distracted by a Korok challenge, which I enjoyed doing, which was awesome. And then to the right, as I was doing the Korok challenge thing, I saw this massive dragon wrapped around the mountain.
Right.
And I was just like, right, let's go and see what that is first. And that ended up being tied into the quest. Mm-hmm. And it was just awesome. It was really good. And I really didn't expect it. I just thought it was going to be just, I don't know. I just thought it'd be find the trees, take 3 steps, or, or whatever, 10 paces to the left of the nearest tree, and there'd be a shrine.
Yes.
And no, it was much more exciting than that. And I really enjoyed doing it. And I just thought, oh man, it's magical, this game.
It's amazing, isn't it? And was that the one where you had to kind of shoot the eyes off of the dragon, and then it opened up, it gave you a scale that you had to then present, and then it opened up the area where the shrine was.
That's right, yeah.
That was oh god, that was so good. That was so good.
And it was just so unexpected, and I just loved it. I thought, wow, this game is so good. Oh man, it's good. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. So I've been popping it on a little bit more. But I still don't want to complete it. But this is the thing. I don't have to complete it, do I? I'm just doing side... I mean, I've got hours and hours and hours and hours of side quests and just general exploration. Actually, I was trying to find... I saw my final Divine Beast, which is in the fiery area. It was going around the top of the volcano.
Okay, yeah, the Goron area.
Yeah,
my favourite area.
The Goron area. And I thought, right, okay, I can't get near it because even though I had a heat resistance elixir, there was like a shield of wind protecting that area, and I was thinking, I must find the Goron village here. Let's have a look for it. And that's what I spent some time doing, was just looking for that, and I couldn't find it. But don't tell me.
No.
I'm presuming it's around this hot area. And I didn't find it, and I kept sort of running out of elixir and then getting roasted because it was too hot above the lava.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, this is perplexing. I thought this would be really easy to find. It's going to be another Hudson situation. I can see this. It's going to be like really easy, but I'm making it overcomplicated for myself.
So did you meet the guy, when you were talking to all the people whose name ends in son, did you see the guy with a really big hairdo? He's awesome. It looks like he's wearing a Beefeater helmet. or not, like a guard, the changing guards. He looks like he's wearing one of those.
A Busby.
Yeah, it's his hair. And it was just like, you kind of meet him later on in another quest, and he's just absolutely superb. I love his hair. Yeah,
well, it was once I'd had my house done, they had a chat and they said, I'm forgetting his name, one of the guys had gone off to Lake Akala.
That's him, yes.
And it was like, right, that's what I'm going to do next. And that led me nearer to the mountains. And then I just decided to go into the sort of the volcano area to have an explore. And then I saw Guts Rock or whatever it's called. And I was like, I did that challenge, I remember that. And then and then I saw the Divine Beasts, and I was like, wow, let's find the Gorons and let's get involved in this. But I need to do more exploration. I haven't found the village, or if there is a village, or the Goron. I did find the guy, though, who was building his own town.
Right.
But after I did the first bit, he was like, go and find this other guy. Yeah, you had to go and find a Goron whose name ends in son. And that's
okay.
And then I was like, it's all fitting together. It's as if the game's making me go there. And so I was like, well, I need to find this guy. Maybe he's in the Goron village. The Goron village must be in the fiery bit. Go to the fiery bit. It's in the Divine Beast. So there I am. Oh, it's good.
That's fantastic. I mean, I've actually been playing. I've been playing Zelda as well, because on Friday the first piece of DLC came out. So the first bit, the Trial of the Sword, came out on Friday. So I kind of downloaded it for both Nicola and I, and we've been playing. Well, she hasn't really been playing that, but she's using the. There's a Korok mask, which is because she's very close now to getting all of the Korok seeds. She's at 800 now, and I think there's about 900. So the last ones are kind of causing a bit of problems. So what the Korok, you have to do what happens is you go, once you've downloaded the DLC, you go back into there's hard mode if you want, that's a separate menu item. But you go into the game, and then suddenly it just goes, it gives a little bit of a kind of background, and then suddenly it just goes, here's a new side mission. Here's a new side, and it just gives you these EX side missions. One of them was to go and find the Korok mask. So you go and find that, and once you go and find that, you kind of put it on, and as you're walking around, if you get within a radius of a Korok seed challenge, your mask that you're wearing starts to jiggle. So you hear this kind of like a rattling of Korok seeds. You hear it and it starts to jiggle. So it helps you kind of pinpoint where you need to go. And it's really cool. It's really... so I've got that as well. I've equipped that as well. But what I've done is I'm actually doing I'm doing the Trial of the Sword. So the Trial of the Sword is that you go to an area within Hyrule, and then you put down your sword, and it takes you to these... multiple, I think there's about 45. It's a bit like Eventide Island because you're stripped of everything, even your divine beast powers. You're stripped of even those as well. And
then you keep your runes, like your ice thing and your gravity thing and stuff.
Yes,
like that. Okay.
Yeah. So you keep ice and the bombs, the 2 bombs and things like that. So you keep all of those, but you lose all of your other powers. And then so the first one was quite easy. There was just a couple of block-ins, and you had to take them out. And then a little blue area, like a blue disc, appears in the middle of the map. You just run to that, and then it takes you to the next one. And then similar to Eventide Island, if you die, you go back to the start. I think there's save points throughout, but it's kind of like it just kind of took me back to the start when I died. I was just being stupid on the second one. But there's different kind of checkpoints as you're going through. It won't, if you're at 43 and you die, it won't take you back to 1. But it was really cool. It was really cool. Just like I say, I think there was probably about 6 or 7 new kind of mini missions that appeared. But like I say, this Trial of the Sword is really cool. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, you got me at Eventide Island.
Yes, and then that's it. Straight away you go in there and all you're wearing is your shorts and you've got your little thing around your neck, and then that's it. And that's what you got. But of course, one of the cool things about this DLC is it gives you your hero path so it gives you a hero path of up to 200 hours. So when you go into the map, you press X, and then it just puts over the map a green path of where you've been.
Wow, is it really quite a thin line on the map?
Yeah, it's not obtrusive, but at the same time you can kind of tell what areas you haven't been, and then across the bottom it kind of has a timeline, because what happens is when you get up to 200 hours, it then just starts deleting the first hours, so it's just a rolling 200 hours, which is really cool. I
see. So were you surprised? Did you see that you'd covered less than you thought, or had you covered more than you thought, or about right?
No, I think I covered a lot less. There were some areas that I just haven't been. It's really funny comparing like Nicola's to mine. Nicola's been all over.
Is Nicola's like a lawnmower? Like just
absolutely. Hers is just green. Yeah, it's just like she's just been really kind of. But hers is just green. It's full of green where she's been everywhere, apart from the castle. It's really funny because hers is just circling the castle, and where mine is it's kind of all over, but not as deep as hers. It's like I haven't explored all of the areas, which kind of expected, but I haven't explored the areas kind of maybe as thorough as someone else.
But you got all the memories. I thought there's quite. Is it 12 memories?
Yes.
But I suppose it's only 12 memories. I suppose they'll be scattered quite liberally across the landscape to take you to probably some of the most interesting places. But then it's such a huge map. I suppose it's not surprising, is it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Nicholas must be something like 160 hours now, because her bar is further in than mine as well. So it was just really good just to compare, because I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't realise I hadn't been there, and I didn't realise I hadn't been there. There was all those kind of things where you kind of then Nicola had hers up on screen, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's to be expected.
I do like the idea of those quests a lot.
Yes,
I mean, for me, they could just keep bringing those out. And they're just like, other. I don't know how much they are like Eventide Island, but I'd just love if they just brought out islands, because there's quite a lot of sea, and you just you get a DLC, and a load of islands appear in the sea. You get a boat, you go over to them, and work your way through them. Though it sounds like this might be quite similar. Is the reward for doing this that your Master Sword stops breaking?
Yes.
Wow. And how many is there of those challenges?
45.
Wow, that's a lot. So it's quite a good value, because you're getting this. It's $17.99, isn't it? £17.99. And so you get that. You get the outfits. Do you get the outfits in this one? Do you get the Tingle outfit?
You do. There is a travel medallion which enables you to put it anywhere you want, and then you can then travel back to that. But you have to find it first. There's the Croc Master that helps you find Croc Master. There's a Tingle outfit which I can't wait to find. There's a Majora's Mask, and then there is a kind of a Dark Link, a Phantom one, and then there was a Midna outfit as well. So they're all quests. It just keeps going. Rumour has it you need to go to this stable and read a book, and then that book kind of takes you onto your quest.
Brilliant. Does Majora's Mask have a power, or is it just decorative?
I don't know. I haven't found it yet.
Excellent.
But I really want to find it. I really want to kind of walk around in that, and also my Croc Mask. But it's just a great reason to go back. It's a great. Yeah. For me, I've completed the end game twice. So I've got all of the memories. Okay, I haven't got all the shrines and all the Korok seeds, because only mad people do that.
I agree.
But it's just a reason. It's just a reason to go back now, because you were right at the start when you were saying it's a bit of a lull. So for me, my favourite game so far of this year, if there's an excuse to go back, then I'm happily paying $17.99 to go back.
Yeah, it's gives it a new lick of paint, kind of. Freshens it up. Gives you that that reignites your interest.
Yes.
Even though you never lost it, really. Apart from the fact you kind of done it. That's
Indeed.
why I'm scared of doing it, because I know what I'm like. I think some people would just complete that and it wouldn't even faze them. They'd just be like, yeah, I've completed it, but there's so much more to do, I'm happy. But as I've told you like lots of times on the pod, for me, once I've completed it, and it's kind of like, as much as I want to be interested, I'm scared that I won't be. I've said it so many times on so many games that I've loved. As soon as I finished Horizon Zero Dawn, I wasn't bothered. Even though it puts you back just before the end and you can go and roam about. But, you know, HZD isn't Zelda. I'm not trying to say that it is. It is a good game, though.
But I say to you, as I said to you before, make sure you before you take on the end game, make sure you have you've done all your memories. Make sure you've done that and get as many shrines as you can.
I'm gonna. I think that I want to get every shrine and every memory. I think I want. I'm not. I draw the line at the Koroks.
Yes,
I'm not going to do that. But I think every shrine, every memory, and then. What I'm going to probably have to do is I imagine that I'll do this next bit, the Divine Beast. That's sort of, for me, that's the final quarter. And after that, then, it'll be exploration and shrines as much as I can. And then one day I'll get this feeling it's time. It's time to do Ganon. Go off and see him and see what happens. Because there's that bit there, you know, it's always there, that new bit, that exciting bit. He's just waiting, isn't he, for that battle with me at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I like that. I like it that it's there. I'm hoping that it's going to be challenging. I'm hoping that I won't be too OP or something silly like that. So we'll see. Maybe I should go in now, but I don't want to go in now.
No, and I'd also say try and get the armor that helps you with all of those guardians, the guardian armor as well, because that's really cool and that's a little bit of a challenge to get all of those pieces as well.
Oh, right. I saw a Hinox the other day.
Oh yes. Oh god, they're hard. They're so hard.
And it had something around its neck that I couldn't quite make out. I thought, I want that. I thought, right, this is now the main quest for me in the whole game. It's just defeat the Hinox. That's what I keep saying to myself. It's like, this is the main quest now. Make my own stories up.
Absolutely. In the Trial of the Sword, they introduce a golden Hinox.
Oh, wow, even harder.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. Well, I thought, I know what I'll do. He was asleep, you know. They're tired things, because they're big, aren't they? They need
no, do you know what? I'm not talking about Hinox. What am I talking about? I'm
talking
about a Linux, yes. They're even harder, and they're really hard.
Yeah, they are really hard. I've only fought one or two of them. But this, you know, the Hinox is like a massive ogre, like a cycloptic thing. But they're really hard as well. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll fire my first ancient arrow. Actually, it was my second, because the first one, Sam fired at something, and it killed it in one shot.
Right.
And I was like, demon, I'll just fire this at him and it'll kill him in one shot. So I went right up to it, fired the arrow. It took relatively a lot, but it took, like, I don't know, a 30th or something of its energy. And the Hinox just got up and started like thrashing about, chasing me. And I was like, okay, ancient arrows don't kill Hinoxes. Was it Guardian arrow?
Yeah, I'll just note that down.
Yeah,
and run stomped away. On. Yeah.
But in the end, I beat him quite easily because I upgraded my stasis power so that I could freeze enemies. So I sort of just kept freezing him in time and attacking him. And I beat him fairly easily, and then I just felt cheap. I felt
that's how you do. You know, when you are coming up against a Lionel, when you are coming up against like big things, and later on, you know, I think that's my attack method. You know, that's how I do it. I freeze them, fire something at them, and then run around waiting for that to recharge.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's how I take them out. You know, that's exactly how I take out a lot of things. Once you got that, you don't want to not use it. You know, you're stupid not to.
It was the first time I'd used it, and I sort of thought. First of all, I felt cheap, and then I thought, but I played the game enough to earn this.
Yes,
so, the game's
earned that special power.
I've earned it, but then I just thought that battle was too easy. So I wasn't happy, really. Well, I kind of was. I was happy that I'd beaten him, but I wasn't happy that it was so easy. And then I went and grabbed the loot, and it was only like a bow, an arrow, and a sword, none of which were new, and I was like, oh. Wasn't really worth it.
So when you were on Eventide Island, there's that Hinox there when he's got the ball around his neck. Did you jump on him and stealthily take it?
Yeah, I had to go in his hand.
Yeah.
Did you do that? You did the old hand thing, stealthily took it and ran.
and then run like a madman as things are being thrown at you behind. It was almost like a Benny Hill sketch when I got mine, because it was just I could feel things just hitting me kind of like left and right, and I just kept running with the orb, aloft. I was like, you're not getting it, and just running away, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I think that for me so far is my favourite quest in the game. I just loved it. But it also made me the most angry. I got very angry. I thought I only had 4 hearts when I did it. I started with 3, and I think I got that angry that I went off and prayed. I got myself an extra heart and then came back, and then I felt a bit like a cheat. But
I'd say you could feel like a cheat. I think I attacked that with like about 20 hearts, and then I'd also made food enough so I got extra yellow hearts as well.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't feel so bad then. But yeah, I loved it. But the amount of times I died, and there's like 3 different big objectives to do, and even if you've done 2 and you die, we're just not used to it anymore. It's like, well, you've got to do everything again.
Yes.
It's like, no. But I think part of that, I'm obviously a bit of a sadist or something, because it left an impression. I really liked it. And the feeling of achievement when you did it, wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it was also just building your character back up again as well, getting out axes, maybe finding some clothes, and just kind of upgrading and feeling from feeling very vulnerable to actually feeling that you could take on something like a Hinox. I quite like that. I mean, I think it took me about 5 times to do it. So there were some frustrations, and once on the train I got a little bit cocky towards the end of on my 4th time, and then I could do this. And then I got killed, and I was like, why didn't I just eat some food before I went into that battle? I was just really kind of annoyed at myself. So the last time I almost did it in a grumpy fashion, right? I will do this. I will get this done. But it was good fun.
Yeah, excellent. And I suppose the other thing I've been playing is, Mario Kart, very briefly. I'm trying to get to grips with 200cc. It's very hard.
Yes.
But I'm really enjoying it. And the other thing I'm playing is I've regressed. I've gone back to a game that I abandoned. It's just not like me, and I can't remember why, as is usually the case when I haven't completed a game. Must have been that something else came out, but I've gone back to a game that I didn't finish, but I think I'm more than halfway through. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided,
right?
Which I bought on release on PC, sometime probably mid last year. Mm-hmm. And as I say, that's been sat there, and it's kind of been on the fringe of my consciousness that I've got it there to do, but there's never been a good time to go back. And so, with really, I think we were discussing it last week, with a lack of a narrative to get involved in, I fired it back up and jumped back into the world of Deus Ex with Adam Jensen and his husky voice. Snake, Solid Snake's brother, and yeah, it's good. It's holding up well. The trouble with it is I've forgotten most of the story, so I might have to watch a YouTube video of Mankind Divided in 2 minutes just to catch me up,
just to get you back there.
Yeah, I spent quite a long time redoing the settings because it had sort of forgotten the settings that I'd set. It took me ages to do them last time. Well, I was a little bit of a tinker, and it'd been patched. It had loads of patches and stuff added to it now. So there was an option there that was an experimental option when I first got it, but now it wasn't experimental, to turn on DirectX 12 support.
Oh, right.
So I flicked that switch, basically put everything on full, put it on 4K, and just started it. And something ran pretty well.
Oh, really?
It ran as well as Hitman. The frame rate was maybe slightly less good as Hitman on the Xbox One. As Hitman on the Xbox One. So, 30 frames, I suppose. But it was a little bit worse than that. Maybe it was like 24 or something. It was a bit of a... I could have put up with it. Maybe it was more like Halo on original Xbox. And I could have just said, this is just for movie effect. But I decided that I wanted a smooth experience, so I lowered it down to what I remembered I had it on before, which was 1440, so like 2K resolution.
Right.
And stuck that on 60 frames, and I've put pretty much everything onto the maximum, and it runs beautifully.
Oh, wow.
And I sat back and I thought, wow, I'm so happy with this graphics card, because it's over a year since I've had it. and it's running this at 2K at 60 frames really nicely, and I just thought, wow, that's good. I'm happy. I'm really happy. So I've been enjoying that, but I'm still. It took me ages just to remember the controls. You know what it's like when you've been out of a game, and it's not one of them games where it's got a very individual control set.
Right.
So it's not like Call of Duty or something that you can just go, yeah, it's going to be here, this is going to be here. It's got a very sort of individual control set. So I was kind of like, how did I put a gun away again? How do I select a gun? How do I heal myself?
How do I crouch?
Yeah, how do I crouch? And I'm sure I've got loads of abilities. Where have they all disappeared to? So sort of like that. And then it's like, and what am I supposed to be doing? I almost feel like starting it again, but I don't think I'm going to, because I've played it my way up to now.
Right.
And I'm right. I sort of walked to the end of a set piece, if you like. I think I'd just finished something where I left it, just maybe beat a boss or something. And it gave me this choice. It says, right, you can either save someone's life or go and get this crucial evidence from the bank that's only there now, and you've got to make a choice. And I was like, well, I can't remember whether I want to save this girl or not. So I was like, oh no. So I picked to save the girl because I thought her life was more important. And yeah, anyway, I'm just enjoying it. I'm looking forward to I'm going to roam around because it's got a bit of an open world element to it. So I'm going to start. I've already started a little bit, just exploring a bit. Like it's the Zelda Wanderlust. I'm going to explore this like Blade Runner-esque world, get back into the hacking and the sneaking around, and just playing with the different elements that are there in the world. And it's an enjoyable game. So I'm glad I fired it back up.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I took your advice last week, and I've rented it from Boomerang as well. So on Xbox One, I've rented it from Boomerang, and it arrived today. So I'm actually off work next week. So I think I was telling you I'm off work this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up early. I'm an early riser anyway, so I'm going to get up early every week, and I'm every day, and I'm going to play just kind of an hour and a half because we're staying at home next week. We are kind of doing some DIY, trying to get everything finished so we can just enjoy the rest of the summer, and so we can just do that. So I'm going to get up and play like an hour and a half every day, and then before I start kind of work, I guess, before I start doing the DIY chores.
Demon. You'll know it's good if you want to put it on at night as well.
Yes.
And hopefully, mate, it is the lull buster that you need, because I think I just wanted a bit of narrative, and that sort of defeats the object if I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to learn what's going on again. I'm going to read the notes in the game, go through it all. But it's good, I really enjoyed it. Then it's like, well, why didn't you complete it? Well, I don't know. I can't remember.
Something else came out, like Persona or Horizon or something like that came out, and just kind of like took you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was quite impressed. I fired it up on Xbox One, just to make sure it's patched. I installed it, patched it, and HDR popped as well. So which is always a good thing. So it's always a nice thing when that happens. So HDR popped. So I'm quite happy with that.
It's got a lot of atmosphere. As soon as the game started, I find. That I was sort of drawn in to its sort of cyberpunk world, and I think that's what I need, and I'm hoping that that's what you need as well. That you'll kick off the game and it's all like the future, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, and I hope you.
This is what I need. This is what I've been missing.
Yeah. We just want to play Blade Runner for a bit, a pretend Blade Runner, just to get. I mean, you don't have to get. Sort of through the lull for long, do you? Because you've got Splatoon 2 coming out soon, haven't you?
Splatter 2, the Splatoony splatters. Yes. So I want to make sure. So I want to play this. Like I say, I've installed it now. I want to play this, and I want to return it by this next Sunday. So like Sunday the 16th, I want to kind of be posting that off. I want to post ASX back on Sunday. So it's kind of back to Boomerang. So I'm back and kind of they're ready to kind of like fulfill their pre-orders for Splatoon 2 and get that out to me. So because I'm quite excited about it. There's actually a treehouse. There's a Nintendo treehouse on Thursday. So it's probably when this pod goes up live. There's a Nintendo treehouse about Splatoon. They reckon it's going to be about 25 minutes long. So that could be quite interesting just to kind of see. But I quite like the single player, the co-op bit of it, as well as the multiplayer. Just I'd never played the first one, but there's something about the graphics that are just kind of pulling me in.
Cool. So what day is the release date for that?
It's the 21st, I believe.
What's the 21st?
So the 21st is a Friday. So I'm going to get it 16th.
Yeah.
I've even got it in my diary. I've just clicked on the 16th. It's like, send game back to Boomerang. So that kind of, then if I send it the 16th, they will get that on the 18th, and I'll be ready to kind of be in line for that. So
yeah, because it takes a day or two to process. I was going to say, if it was a Tuesday release, it's like it probably wouldn't happen, but you're hedging your bets on the cautious side, which I like to see. So you'll be in plenty of time there. Return it. They'll get it on the Monday or Tuesday. It'll say, yes, we've got it back, and then they'll dispatch, hopefully, for you the day before release.
Yes, so I should get it on either the Friday or the Saturday. It's quite funny. I actually tested my process this week because I had two games. I had my bonus game and also Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy, and I posted them, both of them on Sunday. I posted them on Sunday when we were kind of out and about, and I got Deus Ex today.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's a good turnaround.
That's really good. So I was quite impressed.
I think that they're a really good service, really. So, on the subject of Sane Trilogy,
yes,
how's it been?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. It's crazy, and it's really hard. It's like games were hard back then. But
we forget this.
Exactly. When we get all these retro games now that kind of are hard platformers like Ori and the Blind Forest, we're doing this on PlayStation. But it's fantastic. It's absolutely superb. So there's the 3 Crash games, so Crash 1 to 3. It was like Crash Bandicoot, a Crash in Time or whatever it's called, and then the Vortex's Challenge. I enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed each one until I got frustrated, and then I moved on. I just got it because I wanted to see what they had done to the remaster. I wanted to see what it was like. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get HDR. It was 4K. It was 4K on the PlayStation Pro. Didn't get HDR. So, those apples would have looked just a little bit better if we'd have got HDR.
How'd you like those apples?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, when you kind of put it on, you just wait. I think I've said before, you just wait for your amp to go boom, HDR, but it didn't go. And I was like, is there something wrong? Have I not plugged in my Switch, not the Nintendo Switch, but the HDMI switch properly? And I actually checked it.
Did I not disconnect all that PSVR stuff properly?
Exactly. Yeah, it was actually. It was the day after my PlayStation VR, so I was like, I did a bit of a check, and I turned that off and turned it back on again. Looked at the screen, no HDR. And then I did a quick Google, and then there was people saying no HDR.
And your heart sank.
It really did. I was like, well, there's just no point playing this then, is there?
I send it back.
I'll send it straight back to Blu-ray. So I got it out. So I had a good game on it on Saturday. We were watching House of Cards. We finished watching House of Cards on Saturday, the latest season. And then Nicola wanted to jump into Zelda, so I said, fine, I'm going to play Crash. So I just, like I say, I played through the first one until I got annoyed, until I died a lot of times. And then, so I was like, right, I'll go on to the next one. And then I went on to the next one and did exactly the same. I was probably at it for a good 4 hours. And then I went on to the last one. And again, I kind of got to that point where I'm like, oh God, this is just so frustrating. But I just enjoyed just experiencing each one of them and just seeing how they had tarted the graphics up. So yeah, and then I just sent it back to Boomerang, and I was like, I'm done. That's it.
Just a quick dabble.
Indeed, and that's one of the reasons why we've talked about them a lot in the last 5 minutes. But that's one of the reasons why I love Boomerang, because that saved me so much money. Because I would have probably got caught up with the hype and gone, yes, I want Crash Bandicoot. Bought it or downloaded it only to kind of play it for maybe the most kind of 6 hours, and then I sent it back.
Yeah, we're going to get our mortgages paid off 10 years early because of Boomerang.
Exactly. Do you know what? It was really funny because I went on to Boomerang's website the other day and I was like, right, okay, what games of the fall am I going to do the same thing? What kind of October, November games am I going to do the same thing with? They just added a load to my queue.
Wow. So, did you find that the overall had enriched the experience?
Yeah, nice.
Was it engaging?
I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Keep them coming. No, I mean, it was really good. Like I say, I really enjoyed replaying the first one, and I got really far in the first one. I got for a couple of bosses and stuff, and I got quite far around the island, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, it got to a point where I'm like, no, this is too hard. But it was good fun. It
was pretty hard on Uncharted 4. I remember thinking this would be a cinch, and it was like, that's quite difficult. But I never played them. So when I played it in Uncharted 4 was the first time I played a Crash Bandicoot game. It didn't really pique my interest.
Yeah, you keep going.
But that's it, though. That's the ones I've written down. I've gone through my 3 now. There's no more.
But the thing with me was that it was really funny because when I fired it up and I was like, there was no HDR, I was like, but surely this is what it looked like, wasn't it? And it does a thing at the start where Crash is all kind of very pixely, and then he goes for a machine and he comes out all fluffy. And I was like, surely this is what it looked like, didn't it? And I did a quick search on YouTube for a comparison. And when you see the comparison, you're like, oh my, it was just like probably people kind of got their PlayStation 1s going, it doesn't get any better than this. But oh wow.
That HD brain filter again that just sort of adds extra textures to old games as we get older.
It really is. And it was a little bit disappointing because they didn't do that thing that Halo did, where you could just hit the back button. When you could hit the back button and it would show you the old graphics. There was none of that. It was all. It was just like straight. You just had the new tarted up graphics and nothing else. That's
disappointing. I like it on. I've got like R-Type on. It's a 360 back compatible game now, but R-Type when it came out on the 360, and you're playing it and it's got like sort of the new overhauled graphics, and you can just press yellow or something, or it might be the back button, like you say, and it goes to the original. And I love flicking back and forth.
I really love that. Excuse me. They've got that on Tales of Monkey Island as well.
Yeah,
where you can, and Tales of Monkey Island is really cool because you can have retro graphics but with an updated soundtrack, or vice versa. You can have the new look but with the old soundtrack as well. So there's some really kind of like a real kind of 8-bit soundtrack. So there's some really cool things. But like I say, it was good fun. It was really enjoyable for that kind of. A couple of playthroughs I did. I think I played it Saturday night, I played it a little bit on Sunday morning, and maybe kind of once more on Sunday night before I packed it away. But it was really good fun.
Great, nice trip down memory lane.
Absolutely. So let's start the news section, and in this week's news section we have the biggest game of the year so far. Star Wars Battlefront 2's hero roster has been leaked, and also we have those PS Plus games for July. The first piece of news, Daz, is with you.
It is, thank you very much, Anthony. And the first piece of news is the biggest single format selling game of the year so far is... Is it Horizon Zero Dawn? Is it Persona 5? It's Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy.
No way, shut up, really?
I know, I can't believe it. It is, yeah. It's unbelievable. But... there must... I think it's a nostalgia thing. Because I think WipeOut got really high in the charts. I think it might have been its first number 1 on that re-release.
Right.
So all the people that played these games are now old enough and rich enough just to buy them. That's the thing. And they just want them, I think. That's what it is. GamesIndustry.biz revealed that Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy is... the UK's biggest single format release of the year.
Wow.
Narrowly beating Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wow.
Can you believe it? The only other game that's had a bigger debut this year has been Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Right.
But that's only if you combine all the sales over every platform. So that's not single platform, is it? No, that's if you count up the Xbox One, PS4 and PC versions all together. And that's the only game that's had a bigger debut than Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy. So I think their marketing group needs a huge round of applause because people have just gone out and bought this. It's not a full price, is it? It's not a full price, or is it? It's not a £50 game, is it?
I really don't know, I'm just going to have a quick look on our fact-checking machine, otherwise known as Amazon. Crash Bandicoot PS4. It is $49.99.
I am genuinely surprised. I mean, I know it's a trilogy in one package. Well, first of all, I can't believe it, and second of all, it doesn't matter that I can't believe it because that full price game is sold the most of any single platform game up to now this year.
Yeah,
my goodness me, I can't believe it.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
It's beaten Mario Kart 8.
What? It's beaten Zelda.
It's beating everything.
That is just incredible.
Wow. Chart Track says that if you combine the sales of all 16 different titles in the franchise,
right,
it makes it the 24th most successful franchise ever in the UK.
Wow.
So there you go, man. I can't believe it.
That is incredible. See, I told you, if it wasn't for Boomerang, I'd have been caught up in that hype, and then my hype would have lasted for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I would have just gone, "Oh, why did I buy this?" But that's probably a lot of people around the world go, "Why did I buy?" It will be the most traded in game now.
Yeah. I wonder what the resale value on that will be in a few months' time. But I hope that the people that have bought this feel happy with it. I think there's a lot of people. There must be a lot of gamers that for them this was their first platform. Maybe for them, in the days of the PlayStation becoming one of the first mainstream consoles, kids at 6 and 7 and 8 or whatever, maybe that might have been their first console. They might have got it with this, so it might be all those guys that loved it then. If they brought out a remake of Paradroid or something like that, I'd be pretty tempted. Some game from me on the Commodore 64. I'd probably be quite tempted because nostalgia is such a powerful thing. But for me, this didn't embed itself into my heart. As I say, I never played it, but it was a big game at the time, wasn't it? So it's got its fans. Those fans are older now. They're looking back, and they just want a bit of this insane entertainment. Demon.
It just doesn't stop, does it?
The comedy just rolls and rolls, and then so they've paid. Flipping out! I can't believe it's a $49.99 game. I'm shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got to think all those people that kind of their first console was maybe the PlayStation 1. They've got to be late 20s now. Maybe and they are just like you say, a bit of nostalgia. That he was Crash was a mascot, wasn't he? He was a Mario up against Mario at some point. Yeah,
I mean, maybe that was it with me. Maybe the N64 came out around at the same time, and I haven't got listed the dates, so I'm not sure. But there was definitely some reason. I remember saying, I'm not playing this. This is just... It was either a copy of something, but I don't think it was a copy of something because I'd never really seen anything that copied that format the way, you kind of came towards the screen.
Yes.
Or it was like, I'm playing this. I don't know what it was. I can remember myself making this speech, but I can't remember what it was that was the alternative. When did the PlayStation 1 come out?
Well, the N64 came out in 1997.
Okay, and the PS1 came out in 95.
Right.
So you're right. The guys that maybe got that with Bandicoot at 8. It's like 22 years later, so they're about 30.
Yes.
So you got that's a good target. I've read that marketers will target that age group, won't they, with things that were around 30 years ago. Because they know that there's a sort of nostalgia market. But when did Crash first come out? Because it wasn't a launch title, was it?
No, I don't think it was. I think it came out later. It definitely wasn't a launch title.
Let's have a look. Can I find it here? I've got some information. It's just giving me the blooming Sane Trilogy. Humph. Let's try original. PS1. Just listen to some messages from our sponsors while I find this information. It's always Ipanema when we do this. Have you noticed that? It's always the girl from Ipanema. If I hum that, if I was going to do a tune while you were looking for something, I'd hum "Girl from Ipanema."
There you go. So I found it. It was September the 9th, 1996. So it's probably Mario was coming out. Maybe Mario was coming out. So you were waiting for Mario. You were kind of desperately waiting for that. You probably could go down to CEX in London, just off of Tottenham Court Road, and play it there. So you were like, that's what I want to play, rather than this poor man's Mario. This man dressed in a Bandicoot's outfit.
Yeah, that'll be it. Because it came out in America in '96, and I got an American one. I got it imported over, so that's what it is, and it came out at the same time. And so I was like, "Pah, you think that's good? I'm playing Mario 64, which cost me about 130 quid because I had to pay import prices. I know, what a mistake! I paid for that mistake many times.
Oh, but that wasn't a mistake. That one, though, was it? No. Mario was just such a good game. Yeah,
and Zelda.
But I remember going down to CEX in just off the top of Court Road and Russell Street, wasn't it, or somewhere like that? And the amount I spent on like Japanese Street Fighter games and things like that was just incredible. Or X-Men versus Marvel versus Capcom, the very first one. I got a Japanese import for that, and oh my god, that was amazing.
Wow, I mean, they used to charge some ridiculous prices. And when people
really
moan about prices now, I remember my mate buying Street Fighter 2 Alpha or something when it first came out. Honestly, man, it was about 80 quid or 90 quid. And we couldn't believe it, but we all thought it was worth it because it was so good. Well, also because he was buying it, and we could all go around to his house and play it. None of us bought it. We didn't have the money. But, man, it was amazing. You know, we would have bought it if we could. But I don't know if you'd get away with that now.
No. I remember paying about £80 for the Sega fighting game, you know, where even Crazy Taxi was a fighting character.
Oh, wow.
I remember playing, it was like something like Sega All-Stars Battle, I don't know, and it was just like, it was amazing because they had some of the characters from Last Bronx, which I absolutely love, Last Bronx, and they had Sonic and Knuckles were playable characters, people from Shenmue. Yeah, it was just like, I'm sure it was something like All-Star Fighters, but yeah, that was just fantastic. And I remember paying like about 80 quid. And then on top of that, I also had to buy some kind of cart that I could stick into the back of my, it must have been Saturn, that I stuck in the back of the Saturn that enabled me to play Japanese games.
Oh, wow, like a RAM pack thing.
Yes. So yeah,
awesome.
I think it was Sega All-Stars. Sega All-Stars, that was what it was called. And it was just a fighting game with so many characters. And
wow.
And Crazy Taxi was one of the characters.
That's great. What did it look like? A taxi? Or was it the green-haired driver?
No, it was the taxi. I'm sure the taxi stood up.
That's so funny.
Sure, it stood up.
Talking of playing import games, you say you added
Yes.
that add-on. Do you remember on the Mega Drive what you used to do if you wanted to play an import game? It's sort of in the cartridge. You used to put the cartridges in the top.
Yes.
And the defence against an import game was that the import games were wider, so they wouldn't fit. But you could basically just get a little chisel and chisel out the two sides, and then the import cartridge would just fit in them. Because the actual receptacle bit, that the board was the same, so it'd still plug in. It was just those two flaps stopping it. And you could take that out. It's like, oh, Demon, I've modded my Genesis on my Mega Drive.
I think I had a bridge that I stuck in, and then I could then put the import game into that.
Oh, so it went in like a normal British one, and then opened out, and then
it passed through. I'm sure I did that. Maybe it's just a fever dream.
And then you could get that proper sort of. They had full screen, didn't they? We always had borders because of PAL.
Yes. Oh, good times. Anyway, so the next piece of news is with me, and that is that Platinum Games have been teasing Bayonetta on the Switch. So, on the 3rd of July, Platinum Games stuck up a picture on their Twitter account, which had Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 kind of on top of each other. I'll put a link to it on the show notes so you can see it. But, so they had the two characters from Bayonetta kind of next to each other, on top of each other, but one of them was blue and one of them was red, had a red-blue background, and one of them had a red background, which are very incredibly similar to the gorgeous Joy-Cons that you have for your Switch. And then in the bottom right-hand corner there was kind of Bayonetta, and then it was a copyright Nintendo, because obviously Bayonetta 2 came out and it was only out on Wii U. So obviously this has set the internet alight, saying that we could be having a Bayonetta 1 and 2 could be coming to the Switch.
Looks very likely. And I'll tell you something, that would be more, if that's a full price game and you're getting 1 and 2 together, I would offer the hypothesis that would be more value than the Sane Trilogy. But yeah, wow, that'd be an awesome coup for Switch. Would that mean that you would play the Bayonettas?
Absolutely, yeah, I would absolutely jump in. Yeah, because
I played them. I played Bayonetta on whatever the best system it came out on was. Not PC, though. I think it must have been 360, because I don't think it ran very well on PS3. And then, obviously, I got it on Wii U. And that was a great move by Nintendo. They stepped up and saved Bayonetta.
Yes.
They got a lot of kudos for that. So as I played them both and finished them both, I wouldn't be getting it, which is a shame. But maybe it hints of a Bayonetta 3. And if they did one, maybe it'd come to Switch. And, this could fuel that fire, couldn't it? This could be a test. See if there's that passion. But the thing is, apart from... I don't know, maybe there's lots of people that have Switches that would be interested in it. It's just I would have thought, and I don't know, but what do you think of this, that a lot of the people with Wii U's, some people would have bought a Wii U for Bayonetta too, because there's a Bayonetta sort of community. There's a lot of passionate fans. Would they be interested in buying it again?
I mean, I would think so, because they're kind of, maybe they'll spruce up the graphics, maybe they'll kind of tart the graphics up a little bit, especially for the original Bayonetta, not so much for Bayonetta 2, because that looked quite good anyway. On the Wii U, it's a real swan song for Wii U, but maybe kind of tart up the graphics for Bayonetta, and there's always reason to go back.
Yeah, such good gameplay, that game. The fighting system is so... it's just sublime. It's amazing. You stream these combos together, and when it clicks, and you're just streaming combos and then dodging and going into witch time, you can get good at if you keep it on easy, you just feel completely indestructible. It's amazing, and it is all about the skill. You can see a punch or a projectile coming at you, and you can hit that dodge button at the right time, slows everything down to witch time, which is like a Matrix bullet time kind of thing, and then you can pummel, and then come out of it, and you can just carry that combo going, combo, dodge, witch time, combo, dodge, witch time, and it's intense. It's that on its own is just fantastic. It's got such a good gameplay loop in that fighting system. But it's also backed up with some of the most unbelievably out there, bonkers bosses and set pieces. Plus nods to some old fantastic Sega games in there. You've got nods to Space Harrier. You've got nods to Hang On in there as well. There's all different nods to some of the old Sega IPs hidden away in the game, whether it's a mini game or something going on in the background. It just oozes style as well. She's such a cool character. I love it. It makes me want to get it, but I'm not going to.
But that's just so cool, and like I say, the colours behind the background are very kind of that neon red and blue, and also the Platinum Games Japanese account have also liked some tweets as well, where people are going, it looks just like the Nintendo Joy-Cons, they've liked those tweets as well, so which is very interesting. But yeah, no, I think if it did come to the Switch, I would happily grab this, because it's kind of one of those games where I hear people like you and other people kind of really kind of wax lyrical about it, but it's not a game that I've played, so it's kind of missing from the games I should have played catalogue.
You could miss your train stop playing this one on Switch.
I wonder how that would work with the handheld. You'd be like all over the place. Maybe you'd have to kind of take the Joy-Cons out, and that's when I'd actually take the Pro Controller on the train with me.
No, man, it'd work fine. You could play it fine. Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. It's just, just play it with a normal joypad. Usually, it would work perfectly.
But I mean, I'm looking at some of the games that are coming on the Switch, and I'm really enjoying Lego Uncovered. I'm really enjoying Lego Covered, but I saw kind of like looking at some of the games that are coming out. Obviously, got Mario Odyssey, we've got Splatoon, potentially this. I also saw that Lego Marvel Heroes or Superheroes 2 is coming out on the Switch as well. And I was just thinking, there's so many games coming for this console, as well as the hope that will get some kind of virtual console as well. There's Rogue Trooper coming. There's all those Nindies. There's just so many games that are going to be just hitting the Switch. I love it. It's such a great console.
It is. I was looking at the coming soon on the Switch earlier, and there's loads, like you say. There's so many Nindies coming out. I watched the trailer for a game. It's only £10.99. I watched the trailer for this game. It's called Implosion.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I watched the trailer. I was thinking this. I was like, how can this be $10.99 if it looks amazing? It was a bit, it's pre-rendered, but it looked like it was sort of inspired as a cross between sort of Doom and maybe a bit of Vanquish, but from a first-person view.
Okay.
And it looked. The production values of the trailer made me pay attention. Anyway, it intrigued me. So if you got your Switch on, go over to the coming soon part of the store and just have a look at Impulse and just have a look at that trailer, man. And then you look at the price at £10.99, and it can't live up to the trailer. But my goodness me, it looks very interesting. I'm going to be intrigued when this comes out, and I don't think it's long till it's out. I think it's out in about a month or something like that.
Right.
But just the premise of it looked really good. It looked It looked really cool. You got your exosuit on, and there's these sort of half zombie, half cyborg mutants coming at you on a train or something, and it just looked like a very mature game for Nintendo for a start. But it looked like fun. So yeah, worth a look. I'm going to keep my eye on that one.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Oh, quick correction. On that Sega game, it wasn't All-Star Fighters. It was Fighters Mega Mix.
Fighters
It was Sega Saturn exclusive. And it had fighters from Fighting Vipers as well. Do you remember Fighting Vipers?
Yeah, I do.
That was just so cool. So they had those as well. And it also had some kid characters. Do you remember Street Fighter Kids? Virtual Fighter Kids, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. So it had Virtual Fighter Kids. And the car was the Hornet from Daytona.
Wow. Fighting car. Don't mess with that car.
Exactly. Sorry. And it also had the AM2 palm tree as well as an unlockable character.
Wow.
This was genuinely bonkers. So anyway, Daz, sorry about that. The next piece of news says with you.
No, yeah, cool. Actually, just before I get on with that piece of news, this is the great thing about having my extra set of Dual-Cons. Now I've got my new Dual-Con back. I've got 2 blues on my Switch.
Oh, nice. I tell you what, I've been very tempted. You know, there's lots of adverts. I'm seeing ARMS being advertised all over the place, and like on TV and things like that in the morning when the TV's on and we're getting ready. And I'm seeing that neon red and neon blue. I'm very tempted, to buy another a set of Joy-Cons. I quite like those. Start off with, I was like, no, I want mine to be a serious Switch. I want it to be this. But I'm actually, the more I'm seeing those, it's kind of working. It's working. I kind of did see the bright Splatoon ones. There's a bright green and bright yellow, and I thought maybe they're a little bit out of it. But I could pull off the neon red and blues. I could pull those off.
You could style it out, man.
Absolutely. I could just. I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to get those because I just think they look fun, and that's what the Switch is. It's just such a fun console.
That was exactly what I thought. That's why I went for the neons. I was just going to say that. The reason I went for it, I thought the Switch is all about fun. They're the fun ones. I'm going to go for the fun. And you know something? If you get those fun controllers, there's nothing that could quite just finish off those tweed elbow patches as much as blue and red controllers, man.
I think you're right. They'll match my salmon trousers. They'll match my salmon trousers and my blue socks.
You won't only be the talk of the town, you'll be the talk of the ton.
Exactly. And I just think I could do that. I mean, you've got Sonic coming out. Sonic's going to be fun. Maybe I need a little bit of colour on my Joy-Cons.
Trouble is, you need 2 sets, really.
Yes.
That's the blooming pain. So that means you'll have 6 Joy-Cons. But then, you could present Nicola a pair as well, couldn't you?
Yes.
And then if she fancies pink one morning, you can give her one of your pinks. She gives you one blue, then you're both blue and she's pink. Or red, if you like.
Yeah.
Or you can both go mismatched. Or you can go the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Imagine that. Imagine the discussions you can have in the morning.
What colour Joy-Cons would you like today, dear?
I'm in the mood for a blue, I think.
Yes.
Okay, darling.
This red is going to clash with my outfit, so I need to go back to grey. I did see something. I saw there's a modding site that I saw the way kind of like sprays not only kind of Switches but also PlayStations and Xbox and things like that. Amazing site. I was just clicking around on the internet the other day, and so I went onto the website and they did a Switch that was styled like a NES, like a SNES, and it was that grey with the red, and they'd actually kind of painted them. I think they were about $100 for the Joy-Cons, maybe $115 for the Joy-Cons, but they looked absolutely gorgeous. It was like you were playing like a little mini NES.
Wow. Just click on the link that says "and talking of retro" on our show notes.
No way. Yeah, that's it. Colorware. Oh, sorry, Des.
Oh, mate. That's amazing that we had a little sort of digression in between news items and we got into my news item.
Yes. Segue.
So talking about SNES controllers, the next piece of news is, I like this story. So Amazon tries to stop the profiteers. Hooray! So last week we were talking, weren't we, about people making money out of the scarcity of the Nintendo Mini SNES and, hundreds of other products before it. Anyway, Amazon UK are making a stand. So what has happened, it was posted on NeoGAF, that people who had ordered more than one of these from Amazon have been getting an email that basically says, hello, this is about your order from Amazon. It includes more than one Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Unfortunately, we've had a change to the availability of this item, and as a result, there is now only one listing for the item. Because of this, you can only have one unit. So anybody that's ordered more than one, Amazon are saying, no, sorry, due to a supply change, you're only allowed one. I think that's a good thing.
That's so cool. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, they're not saying it's to make supply fair. They're not saying anything like that in the email, but it does make it does sort of even out the playing field a little bit for people that are trying to buy them all up, doesn't it? So I think that's a good thing.
That's really good. That's really good that they're noticing that you kind of is it just in the same order, or is it that person on their account has multiple Switches kind of in pre-order state, or not Switches? Sorry, SNESes.
I'm not sure. I think it's anybody that's ordered more than one.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. Have you tried at all to order yours, or?
I rang up my shifty guy.
Oh yeah,
and he said last time it was an absolute nightmare. He said, but what I'm going to do is, he's like, I'm not expecting to get any. And he's in the retail. He's in the business, you know. He said, I'm not expecting to be able to get hold of any, but what I'll do, I'll take your name down, and if I get a hold of some, I'll give you a ring. But, you know, I'm not that bothered. And then I was going to say, and talking of retro Nintendo stuff, what about these Nintendo Switch controllers that have been designed and made to look like SNES controllers?
No way, really?
Yeah, I know. Look at that. So we'll put a link in the show notes because they do look fantastic. But you've done all the description for me already, Anthony. I don't need to do it. But you saved me a job.
They're absolutely amazing, and I love that site. Like I said, I got lost on that site. So I love them. They've even color modded. They've even whatever you want to call it. They've color modded the little switch that goes over it, the little kind of slide. So when you have it together, it just looks like a SNES controller, and it just looks so lovely.
It's really cool.
It really is. Did you notice if you look on the site and you look at PS4, they've got a PS4 Pro that's stylized like a PlayStation 1.
No, I'll have to have a look at that. But this is $200 for these pair of Switch dual cons, which is a lot.
Yes.
We're in the wrong business, mate. We should just be customising Joy-Cons. That's what we should be doing.
Absolutely. You should be at home. You should be in your garage just customising dual cons. That's all you need to do.
Oh, wow, that PlayStation 4 looks amazing in its PlayStation 1 look. That's $899, though.
I know.
My goodness me. What are they doing with this Apple phone? Oh, they've done an iPhone, an iPhone 7 Plus, like a sort of original Mac.
Wow.
How much is that? That's sold out. That was $899 as well.
Really?
So
wow.
Not the cheapest site. But there's definitely some stuff there that's interesting to look at.
Absolutely. We'll stick a link in the show notes. The picture may even make the page, but we'll definitely do that. But it's very cool.
The picture's worth going on the page. That's colorware.com.
Yes. Very cool. So the next piece of news is with me, and it's that time of the month for new PlayStation Plus games. So this month we have quite a good month actually over on PlayStation Plus and the PSN network. So what we have starting from yesterday, so they're now available at time of podding. Go over and kind of grab them, even if you're not downloading them right now. Just bag them, just grab them onto your account, so they're always available. So what we have is Until Dawn. So the game. Daz, that you made me play, that you said, you've got to play it. I played it after listening to you kind of wax lyrical about it, and it was just absolutely superb. So Until Dawn is now available for free, or if you are a member of the PlayStation Network.
What a game. I love Until Dawn, and I actually only ended up playing it through 1.5 times, because the first time I played it through it was amazing, and then I started playing it with my mate who came down from London, and I said I wouldn't play it until he came back. But he didn't come and visit for about 6 months. So I've sort of gone off the boil with it. So, and I didn't save all of the characters by any means. I think I only saved 2. So that is brilliant to get on PlayStation Plus. I think it's a fantastic game. Oh.
It's so good. So that is kind of available. Like I say, so it's available from now until the end of July. So you've got no excuse to kind of bag this. It's just such a great. Even if you just kind of bag it now and wait for Halloween or something like that. But it's a really good. It's a really good kind of survival kind of. It's almost like just a classic kind of teen slasher flick, isn't it? It is.
If you want to explore and play through every trope from every horror movie. Done in a pretty slick and enjoyable way, it manages to just really, really balance the line between cheesy and good, if you like. I don't know how it does it because it's sort of you've got it's great because you've got the agency. When you're watching a film and you say just don't go down there, you're gonna die. You can just go. Let's see what happens. You go. We will go down there. You die. So I think the tips with this game is basically if you've seen a load of horror films. If you don't do the stuff that you're shouting at the screen for the people not to do in a horror film, you should be okay. But there's always that temptation. It's very difficult not to do it. And then you realise why these people go down on... It's like, don't split up. Don't split up.
So there is almost kind of a game in a game trying to keep everyone alive, isn't it? It's just
you can save everyone.
Wow, really?
Or I think so, yeah, you can save everybody. Or I think you can kill everybody and anything in between.
Wow.
And so it gives you a lot of replay value. And I think what we did, we sort of got together and we were making the decisions together, a few of us, and it's made it into a bit of a party game. And it was enjoyable. Very atmospheric. Good game.
Absolutely, couldn't rate it high enough, and it was definitely one of those ones where I kind of bought it. I was like, I'll have a go. I even bought it physically. I bought the retail copy just in case I didn't like it and I was going to take it back. But then I ended up just absolutely loving it and kind of lent it to a friend as well, saying, "You got to play this, and it was just really cool." But now it's free, so I might download it and play it again, see what it looks like on the PS4 Pro as well.
May as well, and it's a good demo, isn't it? Because it looks stunning. So if you've got some
when you
around,
pause it as well.
Oh yeah, and they're like, "What's all this newfangled PS4 about? What are you talking about?" I played the system for ages. You put that on, they're like, "Wow!" And it's also got a good thing about it is it a bit like Heavy Rain or something. Even though this is Heavy Rain, sort of done right. This is a game that you wouldn't have to be a gamer to play.
No,
this is a game that if your dad or something was a horror fan, you could imagine that you could introduce them to the world of gaming with a game like this. And because it's quite simple controls. It's kind of quite. It's not Call of Duty, It's quite simple controls. They can it eases them into it. They can play it. There's a lot of jump scares, and stuff like that. That's why I say they'd have to be into the horror films. But I think this is something that you could show a non-gamer, and they could really enjoy and appreciate the fact that not all of gaming is just blasting away enemy soldiers on Call of Duty.
No, absolutely. I mean, this and also Life is Strange and Firewatch have been kind of what I've been talking to my boss about, because my boss, she's got a son, I think he's about 15, and all he does is play Call of Duty. So whenever I talk about games, she's like, "Oh yeah, you're going to shoot someone's face," she's like, shooty. I'm like, games aren't just about that, because obviously the only thing that her son plays is FIFA and Call of Duty. I said, no, you really should sit down with the PlayStation 4 and play some games like Until Dawn, like Firewatch, like Life is Strange, and you'll really see that. And I was telling her about Life is Strange, and I was telling her about Firewatch, and she was just like, these sound amazing, and I was like, you really should just have a look and just not see it as a Call of Duty and FIFA box.
Yeah, absolutely. Play Rhyme, play Journey. There's loads of games. It's funny because for us, those Call of Duties and FIFAs are on the fringe, and it's all this other stuff that we love.
Exactly.
But there's, you can. There's millions and millions who love those games. They're good games and everything. But it's a shame that comes to the forefront, isn't it? When there's so much more of what we like to say of games being art out there, and games that immerse you in these different these worlds that you would never dream of escaping to otherwise. And that's what these people that don't understand, and they do think it's just running around just shooting a zombie in the face. There's so many escapes out there, a multitude of doorways to a multitude of immersive worlds, and I'm sure many people would love that if only they could get over the fact that it isn't the Call of Duty locks the door.
Yes. Absolutely, it just blocks the door. It doesn't allow people through. But so Until Dawn's available. It's available now. Next up for PS Plus, we have Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones, a Telltale series, is also available. So this is, you get caught up in the War of the Five Kings. So you're very much, I think you're in control of the Forrester family. There's a bit of kind of there's some Starks in there. It's a really, I think when we were playing this, we were podding, and I really enjoyed it. Everybody died in my game, but it was a really good game that I really kind of made some bad decisions in. So it has a very kind of unique style. It has a very unique, almost kind of chalky, cel shady kind of style to it. But it's really good, and they even brought in vocal talents from the TV show as well. So we're 2 weeks and change away from season 7 of Game of Thrones hitting the screens, so we now have Game of Thrones, the Telltale series, is coming to PlayStation Plus, or is now available on PlayStation Plus for free.
Now available, yeah, and like you say, nice fit. Just before the series starts, it's a nice segue into the show.
It really is. I mean, it's like, if you think about it, we've still got some more that we haven't even touched. But if you think about it, like last month we got Life is Strange, big Spark favourite, Life is Strange. We also got Walking Dead Season 2. Now we're getting Game of Thrones and Until Dawn. It's just, if you haven't played any of these games, then you're really in for a treat, aren't you? There's some really good games.
Yeah, definitely. Sony seems to be picking up the pace in the last couple of months. I think the quality's been a bit lower. But yeah, this is definitely worth waiting for.
Absolutely, and we haven't finished with this stellar lineup, because next up we have That's You, and That's You is a brand new game that is free for PlayStation Plus members this month. There'll be a kind of a $15.99 title that you can then download after that. But it's a party game. So it's a party game which is using the Play Link range. If you remember back to the E3 showcase that happened just before the PlayStation event, they were talking about the Play Link range. And what this is kind of you and up to 5 of your friends or family can get together, and there's a quiz about kind of what you think about each other. So there's like 1,000 questions that you can take part in: doodle challenges, selfie snaps, photo challenges, all of that sort of stuff. And it's all done a bit similar to Jackbox Party Pack. It's all done via the tablet or a smartphone.
It is. I had a little go with this yesterday.
Oh, did you? What did you think?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a bit more slower paced than Jackbox, but that's fine. And I only did sort of one level, if you like, so it might get quicker later on. But yeah, it's really good. You need to download the app to your tablet or smartphone.
Right.
You download the app. It's dead easy. The TV tells you, there's instructions on the TV tells you exactly what to do. You start the app. The app asks you a few questions, and it links to your Wi-Fi network. And then everybody takes a selfie of themselves, gives themselves a name, and then you flick your picture up to the top of the tablet, and it goes off onto the TV.
Nice.
So that's how all the players appear. I think you can play six players maximum, 2 players minimum, so you can't play it on your own. It's got an online feature as well, so we could hook up and play. And then the bit that we played is a bit like Mr. and Mrs. really. So it had me and Claire on the screen, and it gave us different scenarios. It would say something like, you're at the cinema, or it kind of went, imagine Claire's at the cinema with a date. The date snuggles up to her and gets ready to make out. Does Claire A, say, get off, I want to watch the film, or B, remember what the date's all about and cozy up? And then you both pick, so you don't look at each other's screens, you both pick an answer out of those 2, and then the answers both go onto the TV, and then if you match, you get points.
Wow. So that's really cool. I like that.
So it's a bit of a Mr. and Mrs. thing. Apparently, I mean, we didn't get any, but it says there's some embarrassing questions in there. You can turn them off in the settings. But I didn't get into any of them. We didn't. You can also write your own questions.
Right. So
that could be really funny.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I think this looks promising. Few mates, few beers. I think jobs are good, and this could be good fun. And the fact that you take your selfie and that's on the screen for everyone to look at, and then also it'll get you. There's some drawing challenges as well. So everybody, it's got quite a good tool set for drawing. It shows you all these things. You can zoom. You've got like different brush sizes and different colours. But you've got 90 seconds to doodle something on your phone or your iPad. It's like, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get no Picasso drawings here.
No.
But it's good for a laugh, just like you don't know Jack, this is gonna raise a few laughs, and because it's free, I think this is a great opportunity for many people to get involved with it. I'm going to have to try online and see what's out there. Oh, actually, you can't online with randoms.
Oh, right. I was going to say, is it all local, or could we play could we kind of play one night?
Yeah, we could play. What it did, because there was no one online, so I just thought I'd just see if I could do an online game, and it said you can either just friends, or only invited friends. So you can allow any friend to join, or you can just have the people that you invite.
Yes.
But there was nothing going out of the remit of friends.
I guess you can't do that because the whole point of the game is kind of what you think about each other. So there would be complete randoms that you wouldn't know anything about them.
Yeah. Now that makes perfect sense. Thank you. Perfect.
So that's you. That's you. Oh, that just sounds really cool. I've got to download this then. So that's you. That's now available on PlayStation Plus for free this week. And then rounding out this stellar PlayStation Plus month, we have Tokyo Jungle on PlayStation 3.
Awesome.
We have Darkstalkers Resurrected, another Capcom fighting game, which is awesome. And then we have Don't Die, Mr. Robot on PS Vita, which is cross-buy with PlayStation 4. I wish Tokyo Jungle was... Actually, you said that to me. I wish Tokyo Jungle was cross-buy on PlayStation 4 as well. Cause,
I bought that already on PS3, and I'd love to be able to buy that on PS4.
Yeah, or take that purchase with you to PlayStation 4.
And not have to get PS Now at $12.99 a month to play it.
Exactly. So you got, and then rounding it out, we have Elemental on PlayStation or PS Vita. So there's still kind of 2, and 3. So which we've got 2 PS3 games, 2 PlayStation Vitas, and 3 PS4. So really good lineup this month, I think.
It's a big haul. It's a good haul. Your PS4 owners will be happy. If you've got a PS3, Tokyo Jungle's Demon and Darkstalkers Resurrection, I'm sure is good. Don't Die, Mr. Robot's all right. I played that as well in my little play the new games yesterday.
It's kind of a dodge 'em up, isn't it? You've got to kind of stay away from the bad things that are happening in the screen.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Right.
It's got quite a nice style. It's quite charming. But yeah, you just dodge everything. But fruit appears, and if you pick up the fruit, that causes an explosion. There's got quite a big radius that'll blow up the baddies. So dodge, get the fruit, and you can create combo chains and stuff. Quite challenging. Sam liked it. I thought it was okay. I don't think the likes of... If you're over 6 and 7 years old, you're probably not going to stick with it for that long. But, it's one that'll keep the kids happy.
Right, excellent stuff. And then the last piece of normal news is with me still, and that is that, and this broke today, that Star Wars Battlefront 2 character list has leaked. So there's a beta that's happening at the moment, a closed beta that's happening. It's kind of invite only. I think there was a sign up during E3 where you could kind of put your name down for it, both on PC and I think on consoles as well. But what's happened is obviously people have been looking into the beta code, or in the alpha code even, and they've been looking at the code and they found a whole list of characters. So the link to Star Wars Battlefront characters that we could potentially be getting is from the Rebel side, we've got Chewbacca, Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, Leia and Luke, so pretty standard bunch. But then there's also Rey and Yoda, and I think Yoda we saw in the E3 trailer, so we've already kind of seen those, but that's really cool. There's a good confirmation there. And then over in the Empire, we've got Boba Fett, who's kind of currently available in Battlefront, and we've got Bosk, who is another one of the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back, and he's dude. We've got Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, General Grievous, which should be really cool because those prequels were terrible movies, but there were some really good characters in there, and General Grievous was definitely one of them, and I really enjoyed watching him in Clone Wars or kind of reading some of the other comic books as well. So then we've also got Kylo Ren, we've got Darth Maul, before he was chopped in half, obviously, spoiler alert, before he was chopped in half, and then rounding up, which I think will be available in the Last Jedi DLC, free DLC, and that's Captain Phasma.
Wow, that's cool. It's a shame you say that Darth Maul was cut in half. They could do a head over heels type game, which is actually, since he's been cut in half, you got to find each half and link up together to solve platform puzzles in a 3D isometric retro game.
That'd be so cool. I mean, like Darth Maul in the Star Wars Rebels, and also in the other one as well, the Clone Wars. So in the Clone Wars and Rebels, like Darth Maul is back, and his lower body is just kind of like mechanic.
Oh.
And it's so cool. So he's just like, his top bit has been plonked onto kind of almost like a claw-like, and it's just absolutely superb.
Like Davros?
Yes.
Wow. But so, probably a little bit better than that.
It's just absolutely superb. He's just seen like clunking around, a bit like kind of the bottom of General Grievous almost, he's kind of very much like that. And it's very cool to kind of have him back in the, they had a whole, like, I think a 3-parter when he returned.
Wow, yeah, that's cool. And like you say, he'd be a great character to get to grips with, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. So we've got Star Wars Battlefront. That's coming out on November 17th. I cannot wait for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Obviously, as we kind of reported during our E3 Epic, we also have a single player as well. So this comes with a big single player campaign as well as all of the multiplayer. And I'm just very excited about this.
Yeah, this is the proper thing. This is it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Star Wars Battlefield 1. I got a physical copy of that. I bet it's worth about 10p.
Right, yes.
Just don't know what to do with it. It's like a coaster.
just keep it there. Keep it there in your
posterity.
Yeah, exactly. In your selection. That was a big game. It was a big game to kind of.
I might put it in the cupboard with the Mega Drive.
Yes, indeed. It's quite funny actually because this week Marvel or Disney there was an image that was tweeted that showed Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming to Ultra HD 4K. So I was like, I got very excited. Is this the start of Disney kind of embracing that whole Ultra HDR, HDR, Ultra HD bandwagon? Are they kind of finally going to jump on it? And I was thinking, we've got all of the Marvel movies, all of Star Wars and Pixar. So I was thinking, that's kind of where my mind went. And I just kind of looked at my Blu-ray cabinet with all these physical Blu-rays and was like, yeah, I should probably get rid of those now because I'm going to want to buy them all again when they come out.
And once they come out,
HD.
They might drop, so it might be worth getting rid of them in advance, but keeping a list or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I don't think there's an Avatar 4K HDR yet, is there? I bet that'd be. I know there's a 4K Avatar. Is there? No, there isn't.
No.
I tell you what, it looks that good when I've got the 1080 Blu-ray, the 3D version. I can't really concentrate on the 3D because it looks that good. I can't watch the film. I'm too busy going wow, but. That in 1080, man, is phenomenally good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, imagine how good that would be in 4K HDR. Or maybe they're saving that. Maybe they probably didn't have the technology when they made that. But maybe for the next 3 films, is it 3 more we've got planned?
Yes.
I imagine they'll be filmed with all your 4K HDR whiz bang stuff, or maybe even 8K.
Absolutely. I mean, my next one for me is the next one I can't wait for. I saw it at the cinema. Is Logan. So the last Wolverine movie that's coming out 4K Ultra HD. And the cool thing about that 4K Blu-ray is that there is a noir version. So there's a black and white version as well of Logan. So I can't. I know it sounds stupid, but I guess it probably won't be HDR. But I can't wait to see the black and white version of this film because it just would suit that kind of noir. And then after that, got Kong, the Skull Island. And I cannot wait to watch that again and see that in HDR because I bet that's going to be absolutely stunning.
Yeah, as soon as HDR pops, it's like we're sort of taking 4K for granted now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. It's like but it's a bit of a lottery with the HDR. Will they have done it in HDR? Will they not? And then you get that release, and you're like, oh, classic. It's like the full product, the full package, isn't it? If you get your 4K HDR.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And like Netflix have got like Game of Thrones, House of Cards was just 4K, was Ultra HD, and that looks stunning. But then they brought out a new movie called Okja about this ginormous pig, and that is 4K HDR, and that looks stunning. It looks really good. Even
is it any good?
Well, I started watching it, and I was just like, this is amazing. Nicola was like, yeah, this is a you movie. You just watch this. I was like, okay, I'm going to sit and watch this. I'm going to watch this like on Friday night or something like that. So I'm going to watch it this week. I'll report next week.
Is it live action or a cartoon?
No, it's live action.
Okay.
So it's like Tilda Swinton is in it, and it just seems really cool. So they've got these 21 super pigs that they've distributed to everyone, and there's a competition to kind of grow the best super pig, and it's just
what are you doing? You can't watch that. It sounds rubbish.
It's absolutely bonkers, but it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And the best thing about it is like the t-shirt guys who I absolutely love, Dark Bunny tees. The guy who runs that, he kind of watched this movie. It's OKJA, and he watched his movie, and then literally I think within about 20 minutes he kind of tweeted out going, yeah, I'm trying this, and he'd done a couple of designs because it's obviously grabbed him as well, but it looks absolutely superb.
I'm gonna have to have a look at it. The weird thing about Netflix, I've just finished. Well, no, I'm about to finish. I just finished the penultimate episode last night of Better Call Saul.
Oh right, yes,
latest season.
Yeah,
that's 4K but not HDR.
Mm-hmm.
And there's loads that aren't HDR, but Daredevil was HDR 4K. Yes. I don't understand why there's a hit and miss with it.
No, I know. And so
it's
was
like BHDR. Yoda should be like BHDR or don't BHDR.
Well, exactly. That was it with House of Cards. I keep calling it Game of Thrones just because everyone dies. I was watching like House of Cards, and it was that. I was like, oh, it's just Ultra HD. Why isn't it HDR 4K?
I'd have expected the latest ones to start. It starts stepping up, and everything. There'd be a transition, and everything would start to be HDR if you've got it.
Yes.
So it just makes me scratch my head. There's loads of 4K stuff, but Daredevil was quite a long time ago.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like I say, Iron Fist was HDR. But just word of advice: the one about the pig is not for Sam. Even though it sounds like it, because like Tilda,
I had this sort of Ghibli thing going on in my
mind.
No.
It is. There's this little girl, and this because it then kind of cuts to after Tilda Swinton kind of sets up the premise of the movie. It cuts to this little girl, this little Japanese girl, just kind of there, kind of by a waterfall, and then suddenly this super pig just bursts through the foliage and dives into the water, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And that's when Nicola was like, okay, it's 11 o'clock, I'm going to bed now. And I was like, okay.
Did you not realise you were watching the new trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Yeah, that's what it was. I was waiting for the sweary monkey. But yeah, though it looks absolutely superb. I'm going to watch it over the weekend. So I will let you know what it's like. But have a look at it. Just watch the first 5 minutes. You'll
I'm going to have a look.
Instantly drawn in by the quirky craziness of Tilda Swinton.
Come for the craziness, stay for the pig.
Exactly. And it better taste nice. Anyway, so that's it for our tangent news. It's now time to head over to the VR news desk for the latest in VR. VR desk. Yes, here we are, the VR desk once again. What have we got for you this week? 3 beautiful bits of information from the VR news world. So what have we got first? First of all, we're going to talk about Samsung, who are jumping on board the all-in-one VR train. So it seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment that many of the big manufacturers are making VR headsets that are standalone. Right.
So you don't need a PC and you don't need a phone. It's just there. It's going to work. It's got the computer in it. I like the idea of it, really. And they're not really as powerful yet, but they're not. I don't think any of them are really out yet. So you can't really expect it to be as powerful as one that's tethered to a PC, but they are looking like they're going to be quite good. So this one is the Exynos VR headset from Samsung, and that's the name of the processor, the Exynos processor. So I think this is some kind of VR mobile processor that it's using. And it's quite interesting what they're going to use on this. So this is going to be a standalone headset, so no computer required. And they're going to use eye tracking technology in this headset. So that's already pretty cool. It's also going to use foveated rendering that we've talked about before. So a combination of eye tracking and foveated rendering is really it's kind of a killer combo, because what foveated rendering does, and I know you know this, Anthony, but I'll just recap and you can tell me if I've got it wrong. It makes it so that what you're looking at in the experience or in the VR game, in the VR world or in the VR space, that is displayed at the highest resolution, at the resolution that the game is intended for, or the experience is intended for, and everything else is displayed at a lower resolution, so you can still see it. Because you're not focused on it, you don't notice that it's got a lower resolution. And this saves a heck of a lot of horsepower for
that's
the
really
processor
smart,
and things like that.
That's just really smart.
It's really amazing. I mean, when we talked about this before a few months ago, the articles that we were citing were saying that this meant that you could get sort of PC level graphics on mobile technology. It was that, because you could save that much, and because it knows where you're looking, you don't really notice any difference. What's got to be good though is the lag. You can't have the lag, otherwise your eye can notice. So it needs to be sort of instant. As soon as you look somewhere else, you know how fast your eye works.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be instantly, at that res, and everything else drops. So let's just imagine that that's working. This is going to use eye tracking with foveated rendering. So that's like a killer combo. It's going to have that in there, and it's also going to have some extra stuff in here. We're going to have hand tracking, voice recognition, and facial expression recognition.
Right, okay.
All in a standalone HMD that you can... I mean, they're a bit chunky still, so I was going to say pop in your bag, but probably not. But, in your rucksack, you could probably have one. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of technology, isn't it, that you could take on the go with you now. Looking a bit bulky and not out yet, but it makes me think about the future when these things are more portable. You slip open your rucksack, it doesn't look quite as offensive on the train, and you pop one of these on your head for a long journey, and, you could be like your dad in the Coral.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you imagine these on a plane. That you're on a plane, especially if you are scared of flying, or have something anxiety like you about flying. You could just pop this on, and then suddenly you are completely immersed. And before you know it, the battery's dying. But before you know it, you're 4 hours. You're 4 hours into that flight, and you're almost there. You're almost at your destination because you have just completely immersed yourself.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And as you know, with the Switch, it makes a long commute, a cinch.
Oh, it disappears. Time just, before I know it, I'm like Tunbridge Wells. Before I know it, it's Bing Bong London Bridge, and I'm just like, where did that time go? And I just
you're actually grumpy because you're enjoying yourself.
Exactly. Go round again.
Why can't you be delayed when I want you to be delayed? So if you take that to the next level with some kind of portable standalone VR device, you could see in the future just a picture. It was a bit like at the, I think it was the Facebook convention, that sort of minorly famous picture where you've seen it, haven't you, where the whole crowd have got their headsets on.
Yes.
And you can imagine taking a snapshot of everyone on a train. They're all just going to look like brainwashed zombies with HMDs on. But yeah, it's another step forward, isn't it? It's another step forward in VR. It shows that the big hitters like Samsung are investing in this technology, and I look forward to see what the result of the actual fidelity of the resolutions, of the experiences, of the games, of the applications that are going to use for this, because there could be some good... Maybe games isn't the niche for this. I mean, maybe there's going to be some applications for it that would be quite useful, like using location and stuff like that. If you were going on a trip, obviously you're not going to wear one of them and drive, because it's not augmented reality, it's VR, so you can't see out of it. But as a passenger... using GPS, you could have some sort of, I don't know. I was going to say, I'm about to say, well, why wouldn't you just look out the window?
But maybe it would overlay it and tell you what you're looking at. Because many times I've sat in the car and go, what's that? And it would just like, this is Stonehenge, and it takes you on and tells you all about Stonehenge as you're passing Stonehenge.
Yeah, well, we've already got Google Earth VR.
Yes.
So they've already brought that out. You can use that on the Vive. And I don't think that uses a load of graphical horsepower. So you could just boot that up anywhere, couldn't you? And as long as you got internet. So they'd have to take a SIM, wouldn't it, to do that? And yeah, imagine that. And you can just, like you say, you're going past Stonehenge, what a bit of information, and it says, yeah, here we are. Quite good. I'm sure that we're on the fringe of the actual potential that could be used with these, but it's another one of these standalone headsets, and I think it's an interesting thing, and it will be interesting to see what they can do when they come out. But the fact that they use that for foveated rendering, eye tracking, facial expression recognition, and hand recognition, all in the one unit, it's cool. How far we've come from, what is it, year and a half, 2 years since VR hit the consumer shelves. It's really interesting. Next, we have. This is a good story. Palmer Lucky left Facebook under a cloud. Now, do you remember Revive? Revive is a mod or a bit of middleware that allows people that own an HTC Vive to play Oculus Rift games.
Yes. I remember you mentioning about this. Yes.
Yeah, it's called Revive. I've used it to play some Oculus stuff, like when Facebook brought out the VR Messenger thing. I used Revive to play that. I used Revive to play some other stuff, some of the free Oculus stuff. I didn't want to buy any Oculus stuff because I thought they might just say no again like they did ages ago. But what Palmer Luckey's done since he's leaving, just recently, he's invested $2,000 a month on the Revive Patreon.
Wow.
So that's a bit of a turnabout, isn't it? And it sort of gives me the impression that maybe because it was often said that Palmer Luckey's view was that VR should be open. He didn't like the idea of walled gardens, but then when Facebook bought Oculus, there was a lot more of this exclusivity, and there still is.
Mm-hmm.
And, his fans and the community that loved him, this was probably the start of a historically rapid descent of liking him. And he's left now and he's done this, and it makes me think that maybe that those decisions were above his level. And that this is him turning around and saying, unless he just wants to make friends, a gesture like that, saying, I'm sorry. But it kind of, to me, I'm thinking, he couldn't do that before. Now he's out sort of in the wild again. He's like, yeah, I wanted it to be open, so this is my way of saying I want it to be open.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month to the Patreon. Which I think it's a really nice thing to do. He hasn't commented on exactly why he did it. So, your guess is as good as mine. But I would like to think it's something like that. Now,
maybe he wants to jump in and help these guys and kind of do a bit of coding. Maybe he's kind of missing it, and he's fed up with wearing quiet cosplay, so he wants to jump back in.
To chafe.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting that itch probably because of that quiet cosplay, and he wants to kind of get back in and maybe do some coding. Maybe this is his way of saying, guys, can I come and work with you? Can I come and play? So maybe he just wants to get back into some coding.
How could you bring the quiet cosplay back into my mind?
Oh, sorry, mate. You just washed it. Yeah.
Oh dear. But he's done it anyway. I think it's a really nice gesture. I mean, he could just be a one-off and just cancel it. Get the headlines and think demon, and then cancel. But apparently, the Revive Patreon campaign made a pledge, and that said, if the campaign hit a goal of $1,500 a month, they would pay the fee, which was $3,500, to join the Kronos group, which is like an open standard for VR. We've mentioned it before. Like Kronos are like trying to move forward with making an open VR standard. And so Revive said that they'd join that if they got that money. And I think with Palmer Luckey's contribution, it's got them to exceed that title, or sorry, that amount. So they're going to join the Kronos group and be part of what hopefully is the way forward in an open standard for virtual reality. So I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. That sounds really cool. That sounds really good. And so does Palmer Luckey's 2,000, does that kind of get them closer?
It gets them there. It gets them past there.
Oh, nice.
So that means that they can join it, and then they can become an associate member of this Kronos standard and help shape the future of the VR standard. I think it's called OpenXR, the standard. And yeah, so it's all the different players working together for one VR standard. You've got guys like Oculus, Google, Nvidia, Samsung, and Valve. They're just some of the people that are involved with that.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. So I don't know what with his quiet cosplay hijinks and his and his philanthropic contributions to the Revive, because he got a lot of flack for Oculus being a closed system. I just think he's trying to make inroads to his fans, maybe to the community, to the internet, to I don't know, whoever. But I think it's a good thing. What I look forward to is, I mean, he's got a lot of money, so maybe he doesn't have to do anything. But I'd like to think that he's got some ideas, and he's going to reveal something in a year or two, some new maybe refined VR, something like that. Because he's the reason that this VR renaissance kicked off, really, isn't he?
He really is. He really is. Yeah, it's quite funny actually. Yeah, I've been watching Silicon Valley on Sky Atlantic, and they kind of almost have a Palmer Luckey-esque character. And it's the boy from Sixth Sense who plays him. And at one point they had this big conference, and the pictures that they had with him was like kind of barefoot jumping up in the air. And it was very funny, and it was like, I won't spoil kind of what happens, but it was really cool.
Cool. Yeah, I need to watch Silicon Valley. Still haven't started watching it, but I hear from many people that it's very good.
Yes, it's such a great. It's not only kind of, if you like tech, it's a comedy, it's a poker tech, but it's just absolutely superb. It's such a great program.
Cool. And that brings me to the final piece of news. So what do you do in case of emergency? What do you do if there's an earthquake gonna hit? Do you run? Do you hide under the table? Nah, put on your HMD and get tips of how to survive.
Wow.
And that's what you can do with this latest application for VR, exploring the facets of public safety. This is Earthquake Simulator VR, and that's what it does. You know, it does what's on the box. It simulates an earthquake for you and teaches you the best things to do if you're in a quake. So that's pretty interesting.
That's so cool.
It's a physics-based simulation. It gives you the sensation of the room being thrown around, and you can also get house fire going off, which is apparently a frequent consequence of an earthquake. And it allows you to learn the correct steps to take to stand the best chance of surviving catastrophic events of that nature. It also gives you details of how to prepare an emergency kit that you can use in the event of an emergency, and survival techniques as well. Yeah, the developers have expressed hope that families will use the simulator to learn about the best way to survive disasters together, so the whole family is aware of what to do. I mean, I suppose here in the UK we don't really, touch wood, get many earthquakes, and maybe if you're in a place that's rife with them, maybe you don't need this. I'd get this, and I'd kind of, for the real experience, I'd be waiting for an earthquake, then I'd pop it on so I can really feel it shaking. But
get Claire to rattle the doors and slam the doors. Like, it's exactly. An earthquake.
Get the fan on.
yeah. Put the fan up to 10.
The weird thing with this is, I bet if the floor does wobble, but obviously you don't in VR, I could imagine that being quite a sickness-induced experience, because when things don't tally up, that's when you start to feel a bit icky. So if the whole, I could handle it, the walls shaking, the roof falling down and everything, but if that floor started bouncing around but you're stood still, I don't know if my brain would sit well with that. So it'd be interesting to see exactly what it does.
Yes.
But it's nice to see. You know, you couldn't really replicate an earthquake, could you, without a heck of a lot of outlay. So it's something that, if you're interested, you know, it'd be nice. It would be nice to think that this could save lives, and that this would be a help for people in earthquake prone areas. But also, there's the curiosity aspect, isn't there? Depending on the price of it, I'm not sure if it's going to be free, how much it's going to be. Though it is out already, so I could have a look on the Steam page, actually. It'd be a nice thing to sort of be able to experience, wouldn't it? You know. So yeah, earthquake preparedness. If you want that, they've got you covered. On Steam for Vive, it's £1.99.
Wow, that's just fantastic.
Yeah, and that's it, man. I'm going to leave you there. I'll give you the bullet points from the game first, just in case you're interested. You can learn important survival techniques, earthquake simulation, I think we got that from the title, how to construct an emergency preparedness kit, virtual reality, well, we sort of know that, physics-based simulation, and house fire safety immersion.
Excellent.
After the experience, email them for a free copy of an earthquake safety checklist.
Wow, that's so cool.
As if the game didn't do it for you.
Yeah. You have a physical one as well. Right. Yeah, well, on that earth-shattering note, see what I did there? That's about it for this episode. Big thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can keep up with us at gamersoflostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at LostSparkPod. You can find us on YouTube and also in the Gamers of Lost Spark PS4 community and Xbox One Club. Daz, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me as WipeOut on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch. DazAgamer on YouTube, and at DazWhittam on Twitter.
Excellent stuff. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and also Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostpark.com. Also, if you're feeling generous, don't forget you can review, rate, and also subscribe to us on iTunes. That's about it. It's episode 99 next week. 99!
Wow, I can't believe it.
It's so cool. Right, catch you later on, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, 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 ba-doom.